What is going on, everyone? Welcome to yet another Warski Live. I was not planning on this show, by the way, but of course we have JF here. What's up, JF?
I'm doing good.
And we got Rags here. What's up, Rags?
Hello. I thought I'd pop on by. I want to know what your beliefs are, Nazi scum.
All right, and Sinatra. Yeah,
is it cold in there?
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Okay, I could, because you're always wearing that hood.
Always
right. You're always listening. You're always listening through that hood.
It feels comforting. And Sinatra, what's up, Sinatra?
Hey man, I'm just here to see how much of a Nazi you are, not to judge whether you are one or not.
All right. Well, did you guys see what happened on Twitter?
Just lightly, just for a moment, I saw you and Styx kind of talking a little bit about it, and
hello.
Rag saw the super chat and he fucking left.
Shut it down.
No, I'm here. What's the super chat?
Yes, if you were furry.
By proxy, that seems to be the general consensus here.
But that's not you admitting it, is it?
No, it's not. You know what? If you want me to be one, just whatever makes you feel better. Whatever makes you like me more is exactly what the answer is.
We got also Loves to Kill. That was Cosmic Adorgan for $2. Thank you. And Loves to Kill $10. I'm not going to say that, but thank you for your $10. I appreciate that.
All right, here we go. We got another super chat. Don't let that one simmer down. You want to get to that quick.
Yeah. And look, I'm not gonna. Yeah, people are going. Don't cuck. Don't apologize. Not gonna apologize. All right. So
never apologize, Andy. Never apologize to the perpetually offended.
Exactly. And Tiberius Kirk, $5. Andy's a bitch. LOL, JK, love you, man. No homo, my Canadian brother. Thank you very much. So what happened was yesterday, I went on to a show. I'm sure a bunch of you know who this guy is. It's Mike Enoch. We had him on a show before. JF, who was he on before?
Yeah, I was on their show, but it was just Mike Enoch and me. I wasn't on the same
he was
show.
On our show before, right?
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah.
And he was debating, Kevin Logan and the Antifa guy and blah blah. So yeah. So I was talking to him after, and he's like, "Oh, if you want to hop on the show, and we'll talk about your debates and your show and all that stuff." And I was like, "All right, cool. That sounds great, right?" So we hop on and we do. I think it was like 2 hours, right? And a lot of their stuff I didn't agree with. In fact, Mike Enoch was like, if you have any questions or disagreements, just fucking say it right now and we'll talk about it. So I was doing that, right? Now, Sean and Jen? Is it Sean and Jen? Yeah. So Sean
Jen is mythical and doesn't exist.
I'm sorry?
I don't think Jen really exists.
No. It's just
I think it's just pillows.
Sean Ice should be deported, Jen.
Yeah, so he was taking him and some other guy. I can't remember the name.
I think it was shit rat.
It was David Sherratt.
Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus Ken.
Oh, okay. Well, of course, this happens. Always, this fucking happens when you're on a show. No matter if you agree or disagree. People who want to fucking smear your name and ruin your name will take things completely out of context and post it. And now everyone's retweeting this shit and pure taking me out of fucking context.
Well, that's what they do. That's the tactic. That's the weapon. If the closest we can get to associating somebody with a side that we don't like, bingo, we got it. I mean, it's like, hey, remember, wasn't it Coach Red Pill who said that honesty is just a tactic?
Is
that what he said?
Yeah. I don't even think they're associating it anymore. They're just saying, yeah, Andy just believes the shit that he just doesn't believe.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, all the disagreements, all the things I questioned them on, and the stuff I said where I disagree, was that being clipped out and put there?
No, of course.
No, of course not. Because why would it be? JF, have you seen the clips at all?
Yeah, I've seen some of the clips. I mean, it's typical. Sean and John is an abuser on the internet. This is something that needs to be stated. He is someone who uses traumaing and lies to smear people. He's been doing it for many months, in fact, perhaps many years. As far as I know, I can prove that he's been doing it for at least a year.
Oh, yeah.
This is the kind of behavior that needs to be ignored, because this guy gets off of lying about people and misrepresenting and misquoting and taking them out of context. This is abuse. And if Twitter was truly fair, this is the kind of people who should get banned from Twitter.
I think it's a natural result of this. It's a natural progression of the stuff that I've seen for quite a while, though really it's made itself abundantly more prominent recently. We have on YouTube, especially when you talk about, and I don't want to name any names specifically because it's just a thing. It's nebulous in a way. But there's a huge focus on this gotcha culture. This attitude that we have on point scoring instead of discussing. We have it's this attitude that's very destructive. And yes, it's fun and it is entertaining to a degree, but it's a over reliance on drama and semantics. And this is just a natural result of that. This is where it progresses and leads to. Everybody goes out looking for points, looking for likes, looking for retweets, looking for whatever they can get because they were able to make that clip, to make that spicy hot take, to get someone out of context, to make some vacuous joke that superficially makes sense in a very shallow way. This is only the result of this emphasis on that kind of gotcha culture. One that I kind of hope that we could, get away from a little bit.
I don't even know if it's so much just a gotcha culture. I feel like these people are just looking for a reason to bitch at you. You don't it doesn't even have to be a gotcha. They'll just take whatever you say and bitch about it.
Yeah. Just name off the top of my head. Andy is probably experiencing well, as Andy knows, you can't win. You can't satisfy these people. You could, I've been going through it on Twitter the last couple days as well. You could just outright say, I think the alt-right have silly ideas. I think Nazis are ridiculous. And they'll try to squirm around that and call you this and associate you with whoever they don't like. They'll right to your face say that you're not making enough content against one kind of person or one kind of group, and so that's defending them. They'll
completely forgetting they have their own platforms to do this. They're just mad about what you do with yours.
Well, yeah, people can get very upset that you, who have a YouTube channel, are not making the content that they want and that they want to see. And when you tell them maybe you should make a YouTube channel and talk about what's important to you personally, that's evasion. That's not a real, that's deflection. You can't please the people who want you to please them with standards that are just unreachable. Like you can't please Cult of Dusty. You can't please David Sherratt. You can't please a lot of these people. It doesn't matter what you do or say. They have their mind set in stone. It's unchangeable. And there's no point. There's no point apologizing. Whatever you do, it's not going to be enough anyway. They'll find some reason. They'll find some way.
And they won't even go the extra mile to defend their position. They'll just bitch about it on Twitter and retweet you and look for those likes and those retweets, but they won't do any actual work to defend it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, you see that with Warski a lot, and when Andy has his debates, like, how come you had such and such? How come you had such and such? You didn't have the right people on. You didn't have the right people on this side and that side and da-da-da-da-da. Well, you set up your own fucking debate. You come on. You come on and do it. Like me, I'm not really great at these, impromptu, spur of the moment debates. But if I had to, I would. If I had to, I've said on Twitter and like, have Sticks come on. He's great at that sort of thing. Have other people on. But at least I'll try if I've got to.
Right.
And also, yeah. So people are starting to come in. What's up, everyone? We'll read through chats later, but. And just real fast, Pop TV. Holy shit! Thank you for the $50, dude. I love you. Hey, guy, am I part of the Big Dick Club yet? Of course.
Hell yeah.
Huge dick. Huge
$1 an inch. You bet.
So for people to know in context what's is happening here. So Jeff, you saw the clip. Did you see Sinatra or did you see it?
I have it pulled up on my phone.
I haven't yet. Pretty much. I was busy, and once I scrolled through Twitter and just kind of saw you up top, and I haven't really looked at it too much yet.
I can probably pipe it through if you want to play it.
Yeah. Well, I can explain it because it's pretty simple. In fact, JF, what's that word that I asked you?
Miscegenation. So essentially, the clip starts with someone talking about miscegenation, and he's like, "Oh yeah, miscegenation is encouraged." And then the topic moves on. Clearly, there's a break between what this guy was saying, and they then talk about media favoring racial mixing. And then you come in and you say, "I agree with all of you guys are saying. Mass immigration is bad." And so it's clear from your comment that when you say all of you guys are saying, you're talking about their general point about immigration. You're not saying every single word that you said, I stand by it. And I think that's what they played on by clipping it in that way.
Yeah, so it was clipped in the middle, right?
I don't know if they cut in the middle, but the simple fact that they took the part on miscegenation and then they continued to the point where you say, I agree with everything you guys are saying. And then they quote in the tweet, they put quotation mark and they say, I agree with everything you guys are saying, as if you agreed with every statement in that clip. When in fact, what you were clearly saying is, I agree with your general view on immigration. That's what you meant.
And to be fair, I didn't even know what that fucking word meant at all.
Okay.
I've noticed you're not the only person they're doing this to. I saw Sticks in the chat a second ago. I've seen they've been doing that to him too. And even worse, what they've done was they've just taken to photoshopping stream titles of his that weren't even what he said and just putting that out there and saying that he said it. Like one of them was like, why I think Hitler was right or something like that. And they just posted it like, look at this fucking guy. It's like, wow.
Yeah. And that word, for people who don't know, means race mixing. So essentially, Sean and a bunch of people on Twitter, they clipped that in a way to make it sound like, oh, I agree what you're saying about people shouldn't race mix, which is completely fucking ridiculous. I would never say that. I even spoke to Mike and I was like, oh, this shit's happening on Twitter because he saw my tweets or whatever. And he's like, dude, I know you were on the show. You didn't agree to that at all. Like, I believe in that, but you obviously don't. And I appreciate your answer or whatever. And he was like, sorry that people are doing this, but like, obviously it's not his fault. And I'm not going to apologize for being on the fucking show because I did challenge them and ask them questions on a lot of their viewpoints and didn't comment on the ending where the one of his co-hosts were talking about what do you call it? Holocaust denial. And I was just like, I don't want to be part of it. Like, I was just uncomfortably like sitting there, and Mike even apologized at the end. And he was like, yeah, sorry, we didn't fucking, like warn you about this. Right. Everyone's saying cuck. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because that's not my belief. I didn't go in with any information. I didn't read up on anything. I went in specifically for an interview about debates with the alt-right versus the left and all this. So I'm not sorry for being on the fucking show at all.
No, you're supposed to check the papers and get background information on everybody that you associate with, Andy.
Yeah, because that's what people do.
Yeah.
By the way, if just a slight interjection, I got I commissioned someone to draw an icon for me as well, and they just finished it up, and they basically they posted this this commission of an icon that I had them draw for me, and not but an hour later, they are telling me that all the people saying that this person's awful for doing a commission for me. And he's getting flooded with people calling him an apologist He doesn't know if he can handle the backlash. There's some fucking these people on these leftists. Holy shit, man! I was like, this just happened. This is just a person who finished the commission for me, and they're getting swarmed with all sorts of backlash and hateful comments and stuff just because they did a commission for me, and these people really don't like me. Man, it kind of fits in, but oh man, I mean, these are some bad fucking people, dude.
Yeah. And also, dude, like a big thing too that was going around was one clip. I guess the one guy said like a Holocaust joke, and I laughed, but it was more like a holy shit, man, whoa. Like throughout the whole thing, like the one guy who was saying all these like racist jokes, I was like, Jesus, right? But I'm not gonna be like, don't say the joke, don't say. But now they're making it seem like, oh, Andy, he chuckled, so he agrees with that joke as if it's real.
I liked a comment on one of my videos once that had the parentheses around it. Yeah. And I'm not shitting you. For 3 days, I had them calling me an anti-Semite.
Yeah. It's fucked. JF, what's your thoughts on everything that you saw?
Well, these people, they're trying to pull the public discourse in their direction. And the only way they have at this point to do that is that form of violence, which I consider to be violence. When you misrepresent people, when you bully people into not expressing IDs, or you repress jokes on the public space, you are keeping people from accessing a part of the creative space that they can access. Jokes about the Holocaust can be fun, and whether you agree with it or not, or whether you want to listen to them as an audience, that's a separate thing from whether people who do them should be bullied. Even worse, the case of you who simply laughed at a joke. I will laugh at a joke about the Holocaust. I have no problem with it. And we need to defend these spaces because there's not much left. Most people have been bullied by social pressure away from these topics.
Yeah. And also, like, for example, Rucka, when he unfollowed me, I had talked about it on the show, and he DM'd me, hey dude, I heard you talk about me on your show. I have to just unfollow you because of the direction that you're going. Right. And I'm like, this is the guy who has a song saying nigger 100 times. This is the guy who's talking
about Ayn Rand protege,
about vegans being gay and blowing cock and cum all over. I'm like, dude, I don't understand this idea also, besides just making jokes about this, this discourse. I don't get it. And now that, like, I had to do this stream because the amount of fucking retweets and shit, even my girlfriend was like, what was that? And I was like, okay, I have to explain myself. I explained, and she goes, oh, okay. So, like, for example, people in my actual life are seeing this shit and going, what was, and look, like, I was on the show, they have their beliefs, that's like fair enough or whatever, but the fact that I was challenging them on a bunch of shit, and that's not being clipped out. And by the way, me and Mike are cool, like, you know what I mean, like, we disagree on whatever, but like whatever, right? So I'm not gonna apologize to people. I know, like, Theron wanted to be like, oh, you should apologize for having these streams, and a bunch of other people, but if this shit is being clipped out of context, like, I don't know, like, what to fucking even say at this point.
The like people who would go out of their way to be that disingenuous to attack you are people that you could never have any hope to win over anyway. Those are the kinds of people who aren't looking for the truth, and they're not looking for discussion. They're out to try and make a point that they've already decided on. They're ideologues.
Yeah, they've made the decision that that's who you are, and they're gonna put that label on you no matter what.
Yeah, and everyone's like, don't apologize. I ain't apologizing. What I'm here to do now is I want to say my beliefs, as well as I want to see if they'll, tweet out, hey, okay, Andy cleared everything up, which won't fucking happen. It's just Andy's a Nazi, Andy's fucking this. It's absolutely fucking insane.
And you've never closed off your platform to these people for them to come on here and tell you why they think you're a Nazi. Like, you have a pretty open door policy. People who disagree with you can come in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and about this point, to the people who say we invite alt-righters, first, it's false. We invite equal amounts of alt-righters and leftists and communists. Secondly, if you see too many alt-righters, it simply means that leftists have not accepted to join the stream tonight. That's all it means, because we're trying everything we can to have the most opposed people we can on these streams. I would hope that we can find someone who can argue against me on all sorts of issues, including veganism and stuff like this, but it's hard to find. They are self-excluding from the platform. But then they shouldn't complain that the platform is becoming too alt-right for them.
Like, Theron Myers, what did she say earlier? Some dumb shit like, I can't even do this anymore with you, buddy.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And I DM'd her and I was like, look, that was clipped fully out of fucking context. I went in there unprepared. I did challenge them on shit. And she's like, well, you're fucking platforming and normalizing bigotry and whatever, all this bullshit. And then, like, the thing is, I could say the same thing for absolutely anyone. If I put an SJW on the show and they explain their fucking viewpoints, aren't I normalizing, SJW behavior? Or, for example, people who are against trans people.
It's fine. It's fine when it's for us, Andy.
Oh, okay. I fucking get it.
Yeah, if it's not a leftist debating another leftist and agreeing on everything, then really you're platforming hatred. I mean,
they have huge rational philosophies to justify this kind of double standard, where they will think, okay, well, if you platform a SJW, you're platforming at least someone who is oppressed by the system, and therefore your platforming of them is okay. Now, even if they have extreme beliefs. Now, if you are platforming white males who make jokes about the Holocaust, or if you're simply attending a platform where such jokes occur, then you are siding with the powerful people who control our society, and that is bad. So they've already set their systems of belief to justify their extreme behavior. This extremist behavior is not emerging out of nothing. It's not just emotions. They fabricated explanations for why they were right to abuse people in that way.
Well, you see, what they do is they make it a moral imperative. They take the moral position. We're doing this because it's the right thing to do, because we're better people, because we're doing the right thing. And at least when I look at the alt-right, for instance, a lot of their arguments focus around a much more pragmatic kind of take. I'm not an alt-right supporter by any stretch of the imagination, but the arguments they tend to make are more grounded in the results, and they're not moral arguments. They're not focused on the morality of it. And when you make your arguments moral in their focus, then you can justify anything. And not only can you justify anything, you could do anything and say that it's a good thing to do. That's why you can discriminate against someone of a race and say that, well, I have the moral high ground, which makes it okay for me to do. It's a oddly religious kind of take in a way. It's okay if we, slaughter the infidel because, we're morally superior. It's okay if we treat this group like that. It's okay if we take someone out of context. It's okay if we destroy their character, because in the end, we're doing what's morally right. And this is just a way for us to do that.
How many people complained when you had the leftists on?
Zero. In fact, people were actually on the right were like, oh, that's so cool. You're fucking debating and building bridges. In fact, I was doing a test when Mike was on the show. We had I think it was like 3 leftists on. It was the Antifa dude, Bronx blogger,
Even
Kevin Logan
is a communist.
Oh my god, that fucking microphone. Like pure commie mic here. So it was him, Tim, and Kevin Logan. And then no one bitched about that one because it was 3 versus 1. Right. And Mike was fine with that. Like I messaged him to make sure, and fucking like he was like, yeah, whatever, man, whatever. He held his own, and no one bitched about that. But when I have it even, when we have it even, 2 versus 2 or 3 versus 3, then it's like, oh, you're platforming. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, has anyone who's not alt-right watched one of the streams and then became alt-right right after?
I can't imagine that anyone who watches the alt-right in their debates walks away more alt-right. I don't. I mean, it takes.
Yeah, especially after the Richard Spencer debate. Jesus.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody listened to Richard Spencer and was like, you know what, this guy's got it. We got to have a ethno-state oligarchy. And the thing is too that if you never get their ideas out there, right? Then that doesn't guarantee you're not going to run into that one alt-righter who's really good at arguing. And a lot of alt-right guys are very good at arguing. I think their ultimate premise is retarded, but a lot of them can be very, very good at arguing. Jared Taylor, for instance, he's a very well-spoken guy. He's very kindly. He is very intelligent, clearly. I don't think he's a bad person, but I vehemently disagree with a lot of the stuff that he wants to kind of try and do. I don't think his heart's in the wrong place, though. I think that in terms of being on the left and the right, the same thing can be applied. I don't think most of these people have their hearts in the wrong places. But I don't think people who listen to that kind of crowd are really won over by it. If anything, it's polarized me more against it.
Well, also a few people in the chat were like, oh yeah, like I'm more alt-right now, but that's like, well, someone took a debate and the person debated well and they start looking into something and change their mind. Like, is that really my fault on that?
Well, and Andy, another thing as well is that let's say you have an alt-righter that's on a debate on your live stream and he's talking about this and that and the other thing. And after the debate's done, maybe somebody can come away from that thinking, maybe I'm more, anti-immigration now. Maybe I'm more pro-Western values now. And I've said this before, but if the alt-right, I don't think they're ever going to have any institutional power, like ever. The idea of a white ethno-state is just, it's not going to catch on with people. It doesn't catch on with white people. So there you go. But one of the things I've said is if they focus their arguments instead on Western civilization and took the race element out of it, I think they'd get a lot farther and they'd make a lot more friends and their arguments would make a lot more sense, especially to me.
Well, I think that's what the difference between the quote alt-light end quote and the alt-right is you could just replace anything white with Western and it just goes.
Pretty much. I mean, if they focused on the thing is they're taking Western civilization and say that it intrinsically is whiteness. And that's obviously not true at all, I don't think. We have tons of obviously non-white people who live in Western civilization who make it a whole lot better. It's hard to believe that in, the white ethno-state, they would turn away people like, Thomas Sowell and things like that. But if they, like I said, if they focused more on the Western civilization aspect of it and took the race out of the equation, they would do a whole lot better. And as well, I mean, if you go on the Daily Stormer, for instance, I know Sargon made a video where he had like 8 questions for the alt-right and stuff like that. And Andrew Anglin, this was back in early January. I think it was January the 2nd. Andrew Anglin on the Daily Stormer had wrote a response to Sargon about the 8 questions. And one of those 8 questions was whether or not women should have a role in public life. And Andrew Anglin's alt-right position was that women should stay at home taking care of the kids and being housekeepers, and they shouldn't be involved in public life or the government, things of that nature.
Let's just be honest, though, everybody was happier back then.
And that was his actual position, And so I think that when you bring people out like that into the sunlight and you expose that kind of idea, I mean, how many people in the alt-right, what does Tara McCarthy, I wonder, think about the alt-right notion that women shouldn't have shouldn't be involved in public life? I mean, does that apply to her YouTube channel? Does that apply to a Twitter account? I mean, imagine all the splits that might take place in the alt-right for people who hear something like that and go, "Wait a second, that's a little too much. That's way too authoritarian for my tastes." Well, and I think that putting these ideas out there, it doesn't help the alt-right. And I think most people who hear that kind of thing are like, whoa, now serious red flags are going up. I can't get behind that.
Well, that's the one thing I think, like, it doesn't seem like everybody in the alt-right's in lockstep with the way they believe.
I don't think so either. I think that they have I think they've got some serious issues when it comes to the principles that they're going to have to hash out and discuss. They talk about policy all the time, but when you go deeper than that, I mean, policy isn't the foundational level of, you know, what makes a movement necessarily. It starts on a principle level and then it builds itself up from there. And there's I mean, remember when the alt-right first started out, when they were kind of forming and coagulating out of the ether, you had ether is different, but when they were forming up, remember how Milo was kind of part of that crowd? And then when they started to become, like, you know, white ethno-statey, they started to, you know, then he started to split from it and he walked away from it. I think the same thing might happen again.
I think the alt-right originally came out as they were supposed to be like the trolly funny right, and then it like really quickly devolved into the racial right.
Someone's telling me that I believe that rights are arbitrary. People, a lot of this guys keep putting cotton in your ears, Rags. I'm the chance loving that.
Well, let's get what a JF's take on.
So in defense of the alt-right, part of the alt-right is a form of trolling, if you will. So
I think so too.
That doesn't mean it's not their true belief, but it's important to understand that things like the Daily Stormer, they enjoy partly adding humor and trolling to some of their stuff. Now, I'm not saying that Andrew England doesn't believe that women should be in the kitchen. If he said that, it's probably his belief. But I would say a lot of the format is about abandoning the idea of satisfying the SJWs. Essentially, they are people like Andy a little bit who says, we're not going to apologize. In fact, we're going to preemptively offend you. And that's a little bit of what I've been doing. That's a philosophy by which I go by. Every week, I say a totally scandalous statement. Like, I chain fucked women for 20 years across the East Coast between 1997 and 2017. So that way, I'm sure that I left so much trace that whoever eventually makes a poundage video about me is going to have a hard time choosing which of the stupid stuff I said. He's going to have so much choice that he's going to be overwhelmed. I think that's part of what the alt-right does. Now, I agree with your analysis. The alt-right has been exploring white nationalism more than some of the most moderate figures had wanted to. And that led essentially to the label alt-light.
I think that's where I fall more than anything, is in the alt-light category. Because I can't get behind the racial shit, but I can get behind the civic nationalism shit.
Yeah, and I wonder how many...
I'd like to interrogate Sinatra on this, because you cannot get behind the racial shit. Okay, I would understand this statement at the moral level, but are you claiming that America would be the same as it is now if it was constituted by 80% black people or 80% Muslims, for example?
No, I don't think that at all, but I think it's the values that these people would have that is the difference.
So on the facts, you agree that with the factual statement that the fact that Western civilization is constituted by white people has influenced deeply the principles and the way politics operate in our civilization.
I don't know. I think I'd have to put a little more thought into that.
Because ultimately, if you recognize the factual matter, then without necessarily saying that you want that for the future, you would have to recognize that a multiracial future will be different from our past.
Yeah, I think I'll have to put a little bit more thought into that then. But I think the possibilities of a extreme white ethno-state are just off the table. I just don't think that could exist. So to stay pragmatic, I think it would be easier for people to fight for Western values as opposed to white values, just in terms of possibilities.
The way I see it is that, I mean, I can't get behind the idea of a white ethno-state either, but I think JF does bring up a very good point.
He does.
And I like the way that he phrased it. I'm not necessarily ready to say, though, however, that because it happened that way, it couldn't have happened any other way. I mean, that's the way Western civilization was extremely white. That's how Western civilization developed. I'm not going to say, though, that it happened because of that whiteness, or it couldn't have happened without that whiteness, but that's how it did develop. And I'm not going to
imagine. I think we can all imagine a hypothetical future. I mean, humanity could be in 1 billion ways that it is not right now. But I would say what people like Stefan Molyneux, who is not a radical alt-righter, and in fact, by some definition, he's not an alt-righter at all. But what he's come up with when he released this video, Why I Was Wrong About Nationalism, is this idea that, all right, we are stuck in a world of limited possibilities. We are stuck in a world where, yes, of course, there are billions of theoretical possibility, but if you look at the history of civilization, black nations have not formed free nations. They have not formed the kind of things that led to the First Amendment in the US. These advances were obtained by white people. And if I was to bet my money on one people that would improve the state of individual liberty on this planet, it would have to be white people. And a sort of pragmatic approach to white nationalism would be to say, I'm just going to bet on the best horse, the horse that keep repeating the same thing, which is improving the state of liberties wherever they found nations.
Well, I think that's in that. And I can understand the pragmatic argument for it. What I would say is that what you're trying to do is say, if we take an approach for the future, if our approach is to remove liberty, create a society where we move away from liberty in order to create a society that will continue liberty, that seems like that's not even a horse that gets out of the starting gate to me. Because ultimately, there you go ahead.
Okay, my view on the progress of liberty is that we have not attained a free state. We are still stuck today with heavy invasions of private rights. It happens in family court, it happens in civil courts, and to some extent it happens in criminal courts. We have not attained perfect individual liberty. And the question is, how do we walk there? And looking at white nations and looking at black nations and looking at Muslim nations, it's evident that the one who runs faster toward liberty is white nations.
Well, when you bring it up in that sense, majority Muslim nations, and I'll just say Islam as a whole, it's just completely antithetical to liberal values and Western values. So you're not going to get any argument on that. But would you say a state like Japan would be antithetical to Western or liberal values?
I wouldn't say it's antithetical. I would say there's no First Amendment in Japan, as far as I know. There's nothing comparable to that. There's nothing comparable to the American Revolution, the War for Independence, or the French Revolution. Mm-hmm. So these are the kind of cues that I'm looking at to make a bet. And when I make a bet, I'm not saying the white race is perfect and the rest is shit. I'm saying if I'm interested in individual liberty and improvement of the state of liberty on this planet, I will bet on the best horse.
Okay, so how does a white ethno-state exist in tandem with individual liberty?
A white ethno-state is formed by free white people. So they are people who agree to build a constitution. So the same way people agreed to build the US Constitution. So that's how it appears. And it recognizes that liberty is a privilege of the people who are inhabiting that state and their descendants.
So
and it recognizes that it has the right to protect this country from outside invasions through immigration or through war.
Okay, but a lot of that wasn't really about race, was it? Because you didn't. Okay, so let's use a white ethno-state. It's a topical example, right? A white ethno-state is ultimately a focus on group identity. It's a form of collectivism, the white collective, right?
But here you're doing exactly what Sargon is doing. You're attributing values to people who do not necessarily state these values.
I didn't mention a value. I mentioned.
Well, you say it's collectivism. It's not necessarily a collective. It's not necessarily a collectivist nation. A white ethno state. A white ethno state can very well be individualistic in nature and libertarian in nature.
It's focused on an identity of whiteness.
I didn't even think about that as a possibility, or as a non-possibility. I assumed a white ethno state would have all the same comings and goings and differences as any other country in the world.
Absolutely, but we see in the history of humanity, that yes, there are fights within nations. That happens everywhere. But if there is one type of nation that has converged toward liberty faster and better, and toward legality and toward having decent systems of laws, this is Western civilization made by, I'm sorry, white people.
Hey, Jay, it was made by go ahead. I just want to ask him, okay, so you've told me, what's your political viewpoint?
So I'm a libertarian first and foremost. I see the white ethno state as an encouraging progress of the current discussion because I think the white ethno state may be the best tool to improve liberties. Liberty being my favored political axiom.
But wouldn't that make you alt-right?
Well, I've said many times that you can call me broadly alt-right. It depends on how pure you want to be about this term alt-right, because there was a time 1 year ago where alt-right was extremely broadly defined and included any neo-reactionary movement that was essentially technologically savvy. And so there was a time, and this was the time where Milo did his article at Breitbart on the alt-right, where they were denying that there was a necessary association between white nationalism and alt-right. Now the state has changed because there was some breakings, and as people describe it, at least Sargon stated this in his interview with me, and other people have come out with the idea that to be alt-right, you have to be a white nationalist. So that's at the point where I had to ask myself, am I a white nationalist? Well, I am a white nationalist in the same sense that Stefan Molyneux is, in the sense that I recognize that there are differences between race. So the factual difference is there. I'm a race realist. That's the first thing. And then being part of the white race, do I believe that we can get together and form good societies, and in fact better societies than other races? I have to say I have much more confidence that we can, yes, and that it's going to lead to a more free society if a bunch of white people get together than any other sort of mixing. It's not that I'm against mixing. In fact, I've never opposed to immigration in the past, but I oppose when I see that it can balance the powers of democracy toward restrictions of liberty. I take huge issue with the people we are letting into our democracies, who will eventually lead our beautiful countries to be dictatorships and theocracies.
And would you say that there's any basis? Do you support any kind of immigration control based on race?
I'm for immigration control as a whole. I haven't even decided if I would.
Too, yeah, I think it's. So I think
I'm for diminishing immigration as a whole. I'm for the idea that the countries that we form are for the people who form it, their descendants, and maybe allow a few immigrants in as part of programs that allow families to get together. Of course, I don't want to separate a husband and a wife. Of course, people travel, and of course, they fall in love. That's okay. But I'm against flood of immigration. And in fact, I'm against what people refer today as moderate immigration.
Yeah,
now, would I add a racial component?
Yeah.
I think that a nation could legitimately do that, but I'm not sure I would. I think I would just reduce the number and I would let it go like that.
Okay, I think you and I are on the same page there. I don't think someone's race should influence whether or not they get in. It's things like, they're basically, I want meritorious immigration and not a lot of it. I think, I mean, my position is a nation should worry about itself first. Would you consider, my problem with a white ethno-state isn't one that exists what's a good way to phrase it? I don't have a problem with one existing by circumstance, right? Places like Poland and such. I don't have a problem with, percentage makeup for race for a population. What I have an issue with is the process of forming one that ultimately would go against an individual's rights or would in any way restrict personal liberty. Do you think that there is a way for a white ethno-state to be formed without any level of violation of human rights?
Absolutely. I think it's possible. I think not in the current context, because in the current context, the entirety of the world's surface is occupied.
Real quick, can I just jump
Sticks.
Sticks hopped in. What's up, Sticks?
Hello, what's up?
I want to finish my answer to Rags, and then Sinatra can come in.
Go ahead.
All right.
So right now, the entire surface of the world is occupied by some people, and in fact is occupied by a diverse mix of race, as far as I know. So a white ethno-state, being a pure white ethno-state that would literally exclude any other race from being in the country, that is not establishable in other places than Antarctica at this point, which is often why I say, and I say it half jokingly, I am a Antarctica white nationalist ethno-statist. I am for the establishment of the white race in Antarctica. And it's funny, but it's currently the only short solution. The fact that Antarctica will eventually get heated a little more with the heating of the planet, and it may be the only land where you can do it without violating liberties. Now, I also recognize that within time scales of thousands of years, situation on the earth can change a lot. There can be civil wars. There can be situations where there is so much violence and so much poverty that the establishment of a new state, for example, the separation of a state from the US, could be seen as an act of self-defense, and one that would be morally justified. One where people would say, oh yeah, bring it. One where even black people could say, yeah, bring the ethno-state. I prefer the white ethno-state drawing borders around Vermont, and I prefer living in that white ethno-state as a black person than the current situation I'm in. So when I look at things over a great historical scale, I'm not that worried of the fact that there is currently no available land on the planet. There can be lots of development that would make some land available, or that would make the small violations of rights that could occur be desirable for everyone.
Is there anything in because I don't really know much about biology. I'm curious if is there anything about a person's whiteness that makes them more suitable to more either liberal values or to the establishment of a more modern Western civilization? Is it built into the brain? Is it hardwired into their race? Does that have anything to do with it? Or is it just a mixture of circumstances, historically, geographically, culturally, etc., through history that led to Western civilization being predominantly white and created by whites?
It's a good question. I would say on that question, we're not as advanced as we are on IQ, for instance. We have the descriptive fact of human history, but we don't have experiments. We don't have twin studies on that. But I've been discussing this with the alternative hypothesis. It's a very reasonable hypothesis to believe that at least the populations of Americans that have formed the US may have gone through selection processes. Because when you think about it, when you leave Europe and you're a white person in Europe and you decide to take a risky boat to get to another continent on the other side of the world, this has to select for some psychological characteristics. And I was discussing this with the alternative hypothesis. It may very well be that the traveling from Europe to the US has selected for a certain percentage of libertarian values to be more present in those people who were getting in the boats as opposed to those people who were staying in Europe. And I even have a sub-explanations for Canada's leftist socialism, which is that Canada was then formed by a bunch of Americans who were living in the territory that is currently called the US, and they moved north when the US claimed its independence. So these are people who saw the war for the US to become its own country, and they said, no, I want no part of it. I prefer the king and the queen. I mean, you have to conclude that this leads to some form of selection. And I believe that a lot of the political preferences, and particularly the differences between Canada and the US that are observable today, may very well be explained by that kind of self-selection process where people don't travel to other places for no reason. And these reasons might very well constitute evolutionary pressures. Now, I don't have the genes. I don't know that it's a gene. And so maybe it is. Maybe one day we'll know. For now, we don't know. We have the descriptive fact that, yes, when you go into a libertarian conference in the US, they're all white.
Hey,
okay.
While we are having this
Sticks, what's up, buddy?
Oh, not much. I'm actually troubleshooting right now because my call keeps dropping and the screen keeps going black. So I'm trying to figure out what the heck's wrong first. I was jumping in. I actually caught the beginning of the stream there where you were talking about how people were trying to like shill and troll you. And I was just going to give my advice. Basically, don't apologize, which you then stated, but also just basically ignore them and don't give them the time of day. That's what I've been doing to all these people shit posting about my stuff. Like when they put like the Sticks tranny image up, it's just like, it's all in good fun and it is pretty humorous. So, you know, you just sort of ignore it. You have to roll with the punches.
Why are you wearing a fucking shirt?
I know it's a terrible thing. Actually, I already had it on.
To the critiques.
Yeah, it was my leisure wear, and then I saw that you were streaming, so I just, I was too lazy, so I threw the jacket on.
Putting clothes on is your leisure wear.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I think the reason I was more pissed off about this particular instance wasn't because it was a meme. Because the memes I don't care. Like the jokes I don't give a fuck. It's the like literally like splicing something into looking like I said something that I didn't. But yeah, I think I've made my fucking point about that. Yeah, man. People have been going after you the whole time. I've been seeing on Twitter. It's nonstop.
Yeah, it's that one dude, classical liberal, aka Peter Norway, was like shilling it up, and there was another image posted earlier. I won't talk about it here. People can go to like the Twitter, I guess, if they care about it, involving Destiny actually. So people can put two and two together there if they want to.
In real time, while we're having this conversation, I've gotten at least 4 ats of the same people who don't come on here but continue to talking shit to me about saying I'm alt-light or whatever.
Oh,
I mean, same group of
chat
people
keeps telling me that I'm a cuck and a Jew, so there you go.
I just think it's funny because it's always the same 3 people, but they will never ever show up, man. They will never show up. They'll just sit on Twitter and get those retweets.
I mean, I like this though. I really like this. I've never really had like a one-on-one, like a vocal conversation with someone who's on that alt-rightish side. I've talked with a few on Twitter about this, that, and the other thing, but it's good to actually have a discussion with one. Cause I mean, obviously I don't think JF's a bad person. Clearly not. I mean, I think that a lot of his stuff makes a lot of sense. And I especially after this, maybe we could talk more about it too. I think that I probably would like maybe more of a clarification when you say things like, placing your bet on the future and things like that. So like, let's take this from the instance of, say, maybe are you French, Belgian? Don't want to.
I'm a Quebecois.
See, I wouldn't do there, So you're in the 51st state, and I was curious, what would be, let's say you're president, Grand Vizier, Great Water Buffalo, what have you. What would be the first step in the JF, presidency regime, call it what you will, to moving towards that freer, better society? What would be your big key points of your platform? Make me vote
let's
for
play the game. Although you have to know that I've abandoned the idea that the Quebecois people would survive. So I'm a nationalist Quebecois with the knowledge that I'm stuck in a country that does not believe in its own existence, that has voted against its own existence twice. And so I'm part of a dying country. But let's suppose that I become... Oh, what I mean by that is that we've been given the chance to separate from Andy Warski and the rest of Canada. And we voted no twice. One time we voted no at, we voted yes at 40%. So that was not enough. The second time in 1995, we voted a yes at 49.4%. So we didn't say that we existed and that we had our own fate in our own hands. We've decided to be dependent on an English nation. So as far as I'm concerned, the Quebecois people is dead. It's just a culture that will take about 1,000 years to die, but it will die. So, but let's say that you give me your fictive situation and that I'm president of the U.S.
Yes, make me
just
vote
to remove
for you.
the Quebec aspect. Yeah. So the first thing I would do would be to write a new constitution. And it wouldn't be a work where I would go around the country consulting people. Mm-hmm. It would be written by a few select individuals who understand the problem of modern American law. The constitution would be rewritten so that civil courts and family courts cannot be used to invade on personal liberties the way they currently are. It would outlaw domestic violence protection order being based on non-criminal threshold of proof. So what that means is that currently in a family court, all you need is a woman who makes an allegation, and if the judge decides to believe her, there is no appeal right. What I would install is a system where men and women are assumed to be not guilty, and where you have to reach the criminal level of demonstration, that is guilty without any reasonable doubt, in the ensemble of all courts in the US. Okay. I might modify depending on the amount of support I have from the population. I might modify the First Amendment to apply it to any natural monopoly in the field of information and YouTubing and Googling and Twitter. Okay. So that these corporations who own a natural monopoly where they are either the only competitor or they are just among a few bunch of competitors who Twitter, are similar, they would not have the right to have their TOS being discretionary and leaving them the option of repressing speech. And in fact, that would effectively allow hate speech, but it would also allow a series of opinions that currently are being repressed on social media, which are violations of First Amendment rights. Presumption of innocence, removal of the discretionary power of trial judges in civil and family courts for any question that relates to abuse, violence, or anything that can lead you to be found as a unfit father or unfit husband.
Okay.
So well, if you want to accuse me of having sexually abused you, you have to prove it the same way you would in a criminal court.
All right. I like that so far. How would you the ends? I can go for that, especially the family court stuff. I can't imagine I don't think I can imagine a Twitter where people aren't obviously shadow banned and censored all the time. I guess my only contention so far, would be how you would go about selecting those who would rewrite the Constitution.
Essentially, it would be me. There would be a few people to counsel me on what is the best wording, but essentially I would be listening to myself, and I would be taking the commitment that the people would have taken in entrusting their vote, and I would be leading the fight for them, and the counselors would only be there so that I avoid making mistakes in English.
Okay. I don't know how far I can get behind that, but I think you have very noble goals, and I would support most of them probably. So in terms of, you already talked about immigration a bit, and I agree with you there. Immigration should be definitely merit-based, and there shouldn't be mass immigration. And with you that race shouldn't be a proponent of it. We should be the best and the brightest. Let me see. Well, I mean,
I can continue on some of my other electoral propositions.
Go ahead, absolutely.
So
isn't this like
I would
like JFist, like liberalist, but JFist?
It's libertarian. It's a libertarian policy. That's what I'm laying down, and this is what you would get
behind a lot of libertarian policy, certainly.
So I would cut all form of immigration programs that are not effectively needed to reunite really close family ties, such as husband and wife.
Okay.
I would state that the United States is for the purpose of reproduction and survival for those people who live in it, and that we will respect all rights according to the 14th Amendment. We will respect equally all of the people who are citizens of the US, but that we would not let other people invade, and we would not listen to the suffering of people across the world. We would not let this suffering buy us our empathy, use our empathy against us to allow the reproductive invasions of America. And if this means a drop in population because people are just making 1.8 baby per couple, so be it. I will live with it for a few hundred years. And in a few hundred years, the situation will correct itself, because evolution naturally leads people who make lots of babies to have more of their representant in the next generation. So in a few hundred years, I would have fixed the problem of reduced birth rate in white Americans.
So if, but you know that minorities can oftentimes outbreed whites.
Absolutely. So they will be slightly more numerous in the future. But what will also happen is that within the white group, they will also self-correct, because the Christians tend to make, for example, 2.6 baby in America, the Christians conservatives. And so they will self-correct. There will be more Christian conservatives in the future. And there will also be more Hispanic and more Black people. And the population will stabilize without a need to replace them with people who have not demonstrated that they were ready for the lifestyle of a Western civilization.
Fair enough. That sounds like a way to keep individual rights intact, and I'm for that. I like that. I mean, I really enjoy a lot of the libertarian positions out there. That seems to be kind of something that I would go for. Andy mentioned maybe going through some super chats, so maybe now would be a good time to do that before I ask a question.
Yeah,
I'm just hanging out here, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Bobby Sticks had to go. His camera was glitching out, and his headphones, he couldn't hear anything. So he's like, it's frustrating. So sorry. So let's just start from the top here. Loves to Kill, $10. Andy Warres. Fucking yeah. I read this one again. Shit. Tiberius Kirk, $5. Andy's a bitch. Oh, I read that one too. XRT Robot, $2. Get Rags to Athracon.
Athracon. I don't know about that.
Flanders Bowler, $5. I'm waiting for you to accidentally sing Heil Boy. Oscar Francis de Jourgeois, $5. Andy, hugs, love you so much. Merc, $5. V1. Red Pill, lose $5. Fuck the commie scum. Love capitalism. LM, $5. Anarcho Syndaliskim opioid Mark. It's a fucking random word. I don't know what it is, but thank you very much. And LM, $10. I'll read all of them in order after. Andy, the haters are all brainwashed retards who are all mostly communists. None of these people are innocent and have selfish motives. They literally want to control your thoughts. And I'll collect some good ones, some questions. Thank you, everyone, and we'll read it in a bit. So if you want to ask some questions, I'll collect some on here.
I'm anti-white. I'm Jew. And I'm a cuck as well. Ones. So, oh boy,
you're pro doggo though.
I am pro doggo. That's the thing.
I think after I said that, then they stopped tweeting me.
Alt-light. Yeah.
I mean,
Alt-light Sinatra.
I've never hidden it. It's never been a hidden thing. I've always talked about it.
I mean, I've seen it on like Twitter too, especially people say things like how I share, like the anti-feminist stance, the anti-SJW stance that I take puts me, I guess, too uncomfortably close to the alt-right. When really, I think in a lot of ways, the focus on a, like the John Locke style, classical liberal kind of Western civilization is really my focus. That's what I want to get to. And if it's all white, I mean, if it happens as it happens and nobody's rights are being infringed or trampled upon, then that's fine with me. I don't really care. I guess a lot of it comes from people are upset that I don't like when people, if I was asked to identify myself, my race wouldn't really be part of it. I like to classify myself more of the things that I've accomplished and done, the things that I believe and the principles that I hold instead of, just something that I'm born with and I have no control over. I don't know. I mean, if there is any more hardcore, I guess, race-focused alt-right who wants to come in and tell me what's wrong with me, by all means, please do. Maybe Andy could find one. I don't know. Challenge me if you'd like. I mean, race just isn't that important to me.
Oh yeah, Mike. Everyone was saying put Mike Enoch on the show. He's actually on the road right now, so he can't do that.
I've heard the name. I'm not too familiar with him. Who's that?
He's an alt-right guy who has a radio show type thing.
All right.
Yeah, but he's on the road. Let me see. By the way, Bronx Blogger just said, I'm willing to vouch for the fact that you aren't a Nazi, dude. I know my friends are in your ear right now, but a lot of them feel like they're giving constructive criticism. The rest are just memeing and shit. Thank you.
Well, I mean, there is a certain side whose demand for Nazis far outstrips the actual supply.
Yeah.
They have to make them appear even when they don't exist.
Well, JF, is there anything that you disagree with Rags on at all?
Yeah. I have.
Well, he would have to give me what's his political plan, Rags. You realize that the current situation in America and Canada is worth changing.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
If you stand for the status quo, I'm sure you don't, but standing for the status quo is standing for huge violations of personal rights. And you were quoting Locke. There are issues with Locke, especially when he mentions that you can essentially consent to society without ever consenting explicitly. That's a problem. The fact that we assume that the babies who are born in this world have consented to having their taxation rate being 50% and have consented to the debt on their head being $40,000. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, there's obviously nobody that I'll agree with fully. Literally everybody's like that. I don't like like things like a 50% tax rate to me. Oh, I can't imagine somebody taking half of everything that I earn. That sounds awful. If you have to get to the point where you're taking half of something that people earn, I just can't imagine someone taking half of what I earn. That's
Canada.
Hey, in America, there's a lot of people who get taxed they get taxed crazy too. My parents have a small business and they have told me that it is just the amount that they have to pay to keep a small business going is just, it is maddening and frustrating to them. And to hear it straight from their mouths when I know they work so hard on trying to, build this up and create something, it kind of makes me angry in a way that there's, these faceless guys so far away who just seem so detached from the work and the perseverance that, people like my parents go through to create. But you are right. I'm definitely not for the status quo. And especially in the way, like you said, the family court situation, the gender imbalance of how courts can treat that. I hate that. The way that fathers are able to, spend time with their kids, get custody of their kids, it's obviously weighed against them. You and I probably see, eye to eye on most things, I would imagine. I'm very big on smaller federal government. I think that the federal government, especially in the U.S., I don't know how it is in Canada, but in the U.S., there is a very big general idea that the federal government doesn't, they seem out of touch with the kind of things that, the basic citizen kind of is going through. I would like to see a bigger return towards more local governments having a bit more, states. Because in my state, there's only like 3 million people or so. It's not a very, not a very big thing. Cole and my ats asking to debate Rags. yeah, sure. I don't know who they are, what they want to debate about, but yeah, sure. I'm really trying to fetch information, but sure.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I wanted to ask you while you're here. Are you liberalist now?
I mean, I would consider myself one based on the principles. Yes.
True. Okay. How is it different than classical liberal?
I'm not. I mean, when you say classical liberal, I'd have to line the two side by side. I'm certain they're very, very close. In fact, it might be only the details. I'm not a good representative of it. I'm still kind of learning about it, but based on what I've heard so far and what I have seen kind of discussed and thrown about, I would definitely identify one on a principled level. I would have to learn more about classical liberalism to really make that distinction.
The problem with liberalists is that they haven't ordered the preference of their political beliefs. Of course, we all agree that a constitutional democracy is the way to go. Of course, we all agree that economic liberty is the way to go. The problem is, what do you do when democracy conflicts with individual liberty? Would you let the majority invade on which private rights, and where is your line? That's what the liberalists have not defined, and that's what I'm afraid that their response is. The line is pretty much where current society is, when in fact what we should have is a movement toward constitutional democracy being interesting, yes, but for the constitution, not for the democracy.
I think, well, yeah, democracy is often used, and actually, I brought this up to Sargon and some guys who were talking about it in a Skype group. They were kind of lining out their ideas and everything, and there was a section in there about democracy, and I said maybe that should be more like we should word that in terms of being more of like a republic of sorts, something that's more representative. Because obviously the problem with the democracy is that it essentially is kind of mob rule. The old saying, democracy is more than two wolves and a sheep voting over once for dinner. I definitely see the problem with the democracy, which is why we don't really live in one, not on a federal level. Normally when people say democracy, it's kind of like this catch-all kind of phrase, but I would definitely rather have it be more focused on representative republic, and a constitution. I'm a big fan of the Constitution.
Yeah, the problem is that the republic is also a domination by number. It's just that the numbers are computed differently. What we need to say is that democracy should just be the management, the day-to-day management of stuff. People should decide how exactly the rights articulate, but they should not be allowed through voting in deciding what you do with your money. They should not be allowed to take money out of your pocket against your will. There should be within the Constitution a limit put on the size of the state, because as long as the state can grow as much as it wants to grow, it will grow according to the needs of the big majority, which will impede on individual rights as much as they want, no matter if it's a democracy or a republic. Because the republic, I'm assuming, so the model that you're talking about is essentially the fact that the parties would be more representative rather than all or nothing. Is that it?
Well, I'm more of I'm trying to kind of reach the point where I really know what more I want policy based. Because I'm like you, I'm a big individual rights guy, and I think that's more important than group rights. If arguably the rights of a group, I don't even know if they exist or not. Rights should be focused on individuals first. And as I said before, I'm a small government guy. The smallest it can be to function effectively, the better. I don't want to see government grow bigger and bigger and bigger, because it's so hard to get government to shrink down and get smaller. The bureaucracy is expanding to meet the needs of the expanding bureaucracy, they say.
When you guys had your big stream, your JF and Andy, I had one really important question I wanted to ask. So when you're done with this point, Rags, I want to jump in with that.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, real fast, an intro through $10. Whatever social change is needed, it's out of the question if it leaves me without the option to fuck Hispanic women.
That's
a good option to have.
So I have a question, JF.
Yeah,
Sargon. So I agree with Sargon on a lot, chat. That doesn't mean I agree with him on everything. We just agree on a lot of things, mostly principled things. When it comes to me, I am searching for policies that best would execute the way that I feel in terms of my principles. And I'm definitely up for my mind being changed if somebody presents something that I think is really good. But like I said before, and like I stated over and over, because I think it's very important of a thing to say, because I identify myself more based on those principles than the actual policies that execute them. And I think, like, for instance, like JF, so let's talk taxation, for instance. How would that function in, like, in your view? Is taxation justified just to keep the state going? How does that work in your view?
Well, that kind of goes into my question too. What I wanted to know was, what is the right amount of government for the thing you guys would each individually choose to have?
So I don't think that there's like a objective moral answer to that. But if I was to eye it and try to evaluate it, I would say less than 5% of the economy, that less than 5% of the total amount of money that goes into any pocket should go back to the government. I think that the government should limit its work in terms of protecting civil liberties, enforcing criminal law. We should rely as much as possible on libertarian solutions, on people self-organizing in their communities. I'm not against the organization of groups of individuals, but I'm against the imposition, the state force imposition of group organization, which liberalist philosophy is. It is a group. It's just that you made the group as big as your nation. When you allow democracy to invade in as much individual rights as it does today in modern societies, you are believing in group rights. It's just that your group is your entire society. And in fact, it's not even your entire society. It's just the majority that succeeds at gaining the government power.
Can you, so an example of a, because if the liberalist title doesn't fit in with my principles best, then I would obviously rather be something else. But in what way does liberalist principles, in what ways, like for instance, and specifically, does it violate individual rights?
Because it does not specify the size of power that you allow to your democracy to invade the individual rights that you claim to have earlier in your section, in the section of the liberalist website, where they say, okay, you have self-disposition right. Okay, I have self-disposition, but I don't have self-disposition of my bank account, because the government is coming to take half of my money, and it's building social programs that are enforced violently by the state through vote. And so the problem with your system of belief is that you haven't limited the extent to which democracy can invade on self-disposal and self-choice and liberty.
Okay, so that's a policy.
It is not a policy. It is a contradiction in principles, because if you don't specify it, it will grow. The state will grow as much as the mass of the people vote for it to grow, until it impedes on individual right. It's a matter of principle. Of course, it has practical consequences, but it's a principle whether you let 50% of your country invade on the rights of babies and individuals who are born in this country and who never signed off their right, never gave away their right, never consented to the state that's imposing ridiculous laws over their head. As long as you don't limit this in your principles, it's not a matter of application. It's, you have a problem in your principles, you just don't see it.
Okay. Is it possible for principles to exist? I mean, is there any, I mean, that's a good point. I absolutely see that. However, I'm curious though, being part of a, existing within a government as a member of a nation, does that not in and of itself constitute some level of sacrifice to the individual, that they have to give something up in order to exist as part of that nation within a society, within a working civilization?
Well, that would be the kind of the divide between minarchist, who says the government should be as small as possible, and like absolute voluntarist libertarian, who would say the government should not exist. I'm somewhere in that space, of course. And the only reason...
Yeah, based on those two, I'm a minarchist. I want the government to be as small as possible.
Okay.
I think someone in the chat had said that I don't want big government, but I consider himself part of an ideology that supports socialized medicine. I don't think that I'm not for it, especially not in my country. I'm not necessarily against it. I guess that's more of a how it's the individual rules of it, though I'm not particularly for it. I could be convinced, though.
That's the issue I had when I talked to V about it, because I kept asking him questions, and it seemed like I would get a different answer every other time I would ask it.
Well, I think it's... Well, I don't think that it's particularly an issue that can... it's more... Because I can see how socialized medicine... Like I said, I don't like the idea. You'd have to present to me rules and a plan to make me look and go over, but by default, my default answer is no, because it does make, a government larger, and especially here in the United States, it's prone to be mismanaged, and it gets bloated and bigger, as we've seen it happen, here. If I see a model that's more, that works and exists, then maybe I could be convinced, but right now I'm not.
Because when I had first asked him, I was like, is this a big government movement? Is it small government? He's like, yeah, both.
I mean, I would rather have it on like I said, like a local level and not a federal level, so that you have these communities that are either state-based or region-based that you can actually communicate with, and that can exist. Because when you have a system like socialized medicine, so much of that revolves around the people who are administrating it and the people who keep it running to be in touch very directly with the people that they're going over. And that simply doesn't happen in this country right now, which means I'm against it. I would much rather have it be, private only, but have it be far more workable. So... I mean, that's where I am on that. As far as the welfare apparatus, I think that the welfare state in this country has gotten way too big. I'm not necessarily against it, but I think that's more of an execution on how it's actually done.
Well, 80% of our budget goes to welfare, so saying it's too big is an understatement.
Oh, yeah, it definitely needs to be cut back. But I think that I don't really see how... I mean, like, JF, are you against... some kind of any kind of welfare problem? Does the existence of a welfare mechanism to any degree, is that against what you believe?
Pretty much, unless you would have consent of everyone in the society, I would object to taking money from anyone and putting it in the pocket of anyone in any form.
Okay, I mean, that's fair enough. Like something you can sign off and get out of, like the whole, like here in this country, if the way Obamacare was, if you didn't want it, you would have to pay a fine, which was egregious to me. I can't imagine that. I hated that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So
I will note, when I say I'm against welfare provided by the state. I will note that there are thousands of years of human history where welfare was provided by benefactorial institution, charity institution that were self-organized.
In history.
Yeah, the church.
Yeah,
and
I
so
agree there,
if we did it for so long, why would it be impossible today? Why would we need to impose violently the system of the state, which we know what it leads to, because the situation we're in currently is a situation we voted ourselves into. And I think that Rags, in your analysis, and I think I've heard you do it twice on this stream, you seem to be a lot about things converging in a sort of passive way, and you seem to be okay when it's passive, but you seem to have problems with intent. You seem to have a problem when people have a goal and they reach that goal. I want you to understand that the state of society and the state of violations of individual rights today is due by people who voted, intended it, and did it. we are in this shit for a reason. It did not converge like this, like a natural system. People wanted to be teachers. They wanted to use the state to have more salary for themselves. And you had the people working for the state voting for more state-based removal of money from the pockets of people. And you had the immigrants voting for more immigration so that there would be more immigrants on their side who could then vote.
Let me clarify the passive thing. When I said that, what I meant was I didn't want people to be compelled to be doing things. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah, but then we have the problem that taxation is compelling, that criminal laws that do not touch things like murder, things that really affect the liberties of others, for example, laws about drugs, they are invasions of private liberties that are not justified in grounding in any sort of violation of other people's rights.
Okay, so taxation as a concept, the concept of taxation. Does a government have a right to tax its citizens?
Again, I say I would impose a limit. I've eyed my limit to about 5%. It's a rough evaluation based on what we could do today in our society with 5% of the money, which is operate a kind of police system and a kind of criminal justice system. Right. That's essentially what it should be.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But if you are allowing the government to compel them to compel private citizens to forcefully, at the point of a gun, take 5% of what they owe, does that not violate individual rights?
Certainly it does, and that's where I differ from the pure libertarian, because I'm more of a minarchist, but I'm somewhere in the space between minarchist and libertarians.
Okay,
where I say because we need to ensure
that's where a lot of us are as well.
Yeah,
we believe
we need
that
to
there
ensure
has
the
to
basic
be
safety.
Yeah, there has to be some level of sacrificing the pure individual right, the pure individual, because that individual exists alongside other people in a functioning nation and society. That's basically where we exist as in principle. The matter is where that line is drawn. And I want that line to be as close to the individual as we can get it without it infringing on their rights to a degree that we would consider tyrannical or overbearing. So I think you and I are definitely on the same page there, unless I'm misspeaking.
No, I think it's correct.
Okay.
The way I justify this minimal violation of rights is that you have to provide a minimal service for people to be physically safe, for even their individual choice to express itself into society. And so it's not a wrong assumption morally to make the assumption that a baby doesn't want to be raped or that a baby doesn't want to be murdered. Of course, it's a call that you make, and you have to have the balls to make that call. And I think that's where the pure libertarian fails, which is, okay, guys, let's make a call on what is the basic level of security that we can offer to people, and what would the cost of that be, such that we live in an acceptably safe society. Then people can do whatever they want with their money, not fund psychologists who go on the street to do community work that doesn't work, that wasn't proven to work, not the college professors who withdraw their check from the government for all of their life by training a few hundred people to a diploma that they will not need and that will not serve in their lives. This is what we need to do. We need to cut the line much closer to the individual, much closer than current society allows.
And I see that position as more of that. I mean, that's where I see when I look at the principles of liberalist, that's what I see. And I think the issue might be where maybe it's too broad. It needs to be more policy focused, perhaps, because I mean, like I said, there is clearly a level of broadness. It's what separates an ANCAP from a minarchist. And
I think you have a misperception of the liberalist. The liberalists are not opposed to the current level of taxation. There is no principle that seems to mention that they do. When you talk to liberalists, when you talk to Sargon, he will tell you that my dream for society is anarcho-capitalism. And he will tell you that he doesn't want that. If you ask Sargon if he's for social welfare, he will say yes. If you ask if he's for the national health system, he's for it. And so clearly Sargon is okay with the state imposing its withdrawal of money on individuals. And individual liberty is not the first axiom of Sargon. Sargon believes in appeasement, in centrism, and status quo. Even if he doesn't call it status quo, he's not arguing away from the status quo, and I will call it for what it is. He is for status quo. He just doesn't know it.
I was going to say that it seems like a lot of the liberalist principles are a lot of status quo type things.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it lacks a lot of definition, and I want it to be more defined, because there's a lot of difference between, obviously, I mean, like, one of the biggest differences I have with Sargon has always been, the socialization of services. I've always been on the level of, if you're going to have it, be very small with it, be very sparing of it. Don't penalize people for not wanting to be part of it, or don't have it at all. Have it either be private, have it be encouraged and incentivized to not infringe. I think that in terms of, I mean, that's where I am on the issue. So I'll talk with all the guys in the Skype group, and it's not just him. I'm sure there's other people in the group who, disagree with him on that. And so I would like to see more definition in terms of the more political side, not just the principle side, because I guess when you say things like, individual rights over, collective rights, it is broad. People can agree on these principles and yet have different visions for how, where do we draw the line at how much a government infringes on the individual? And I don't know. I'll have to take a look at that and really kind of see. Because that's
your understanding of Sargon's issue with the principle lacks a little bit of details here. I think you don't understand how Sargon is proceeding. Sargon is not starting from principle. I've had discussions with him. It's on my YouTube channel. Sargon is engaged in reverse engineering the principles of our current society. He starts from the axiom that our current society is the way to go, and he's looking for the principles that led to our current society. What he does not understand is, first, that's not how political philosophy works. You need to have principles, and you need to design your society according to these principles. Secondly, reverse engineering current societies is impossible to boil it down to some principle, because current society are a pile of crap. People have shoveled crap over each other's head for hundreds of years until it culminated in the crap that we live in. That's what current societies are. They've not been designed by John Locke.
I don't know if I would consider modern societies as crap.
I think they're heading towards a bad
I definitely see that in a lot of places are heading towards bad things, but I think that in those ways, that's where they abandon the principles of Western civilization that got them there.
Never a civilization in human history has systematized the kidnapping of children the way we do. We've never had a system
that's obviously very bad.
Children away from their father. And you tell me that current societies are not crap? We've industrialized the kidnapping of human beings.
Listen now. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing ever. But I'm not going to say that it's crap. All right? I think our society is... Okay, well, okay.
There are definitely a lot of aspects in our society right now that are fucked.
Yes, there are definitely parts of our society that are bad. I'm definitely not arguing on it, but I think as a general whole, I think we're doing okay. I think we're doing pretty good.
Jeff, someone in the chat, that Sit36 is saying, no, JF, Sargon isn't saying that society is fine how it is.
Yeah, I've never actually heard Sargon say that things are fine the way they are.
That's what he keeps saying. But I have to call him out for his bullshit there. That's what he keeps saying. I know. I've called him a status quo. No. Here's the thing. I've called him a status quo proponent before, and he denied that. So he keeps saying, "No, JF, I'm not for status quo." But if you do not suggest a political philosophy that significantly diverges from current society, I'm sorry. I'm going to call you on your crap. You are okay with current societies, and you're looking for the principles of it. You're looking for justifying it.
So, JF, how would you work with? No. How would you work within the current society to change it towards the way? I mean, what is there? Because the way that our system is, how would you work within our system to go towards your idea of the better society?
I told you what I would do. I would redesign the Constitution.
Okay,
and I would explain to judges and trial courts that they cannot violate individual rights. I would restore the state of individual liberty. I would not assume that babies born in this world have consented to it.
Jay, let's one thing at a time. All right. So, I mean, how would you work within the current system? Because when you started off with the, I would get the people together and we would redo the Constitution. There's a way to do that. The system provides for itself to be amended. Do you not think a lot of people would have an issue with one person and a small group of elites deciding for everybody else what would be best for them?
Well, that's not unlike
it seems that it wasn't a problem for those who were in America when America was built, and we can do it again, and we can do it better. Of course, people will have a problem. That's why when I talk about the ethno-state and when I talk about starting a libertarian society, I don't believe that the U.S. as a whole, with California in it, for example, will converge toward liberty. That's why I'm telling you there's going to need to be events in this world that will free some land, and there's going to need to be a bunch of people claiming that land and saying this is the place for free people to survive and reproduce, and we will design the state so that even in 1,000 years from now there's not going to be the kind of invasions of individual liberty that have occurred in the old societies we were in.
Okay, so when you were talking earlier about getting that actual power done, do you see a non-violent means of those things taking place?
Absolutely. I've suggested Antarctica, for example. I've suggested the conquest
of here, like in the United States or North America, for instance.
What?
I mean, it's way too cold for that shit.
Not for white people.
Fuck that. I'm in Ohio. It's fucking freezing.
But I mean, like in North America, for instance, where all the land is claimed by some government, somebody. How would what would the first step be? I mean, like realistically, outside of the let's say you were the Grand Vizier tomorrow, hypothetical, working within that system and keeping a representative government. I mean, what if the individual...
There's many ways it could happen.
What if
a separation of a state. So if you separate a state, and some states do have provisions to preserve their right to separate from the U.S., you could easily have a new constitution in that territory. If the people of that state agree, I mean, who's in the state going to say, no, that's too much liberties for me? I mean, what's going to be their argument?
Well, I mean, we've seen
I guess
that.
It all depends on what you...
with it, but we've seen that where people do vote away their liberties for more social stuff. I mean, we see that. What would be the best way to keep them from doing that without compelling them to do that? I mean, at what point do you step in and say an individual can't make the choice to give away their individuality at the for the benefit of more social stuff?
Well, I think the issue there is when a person goes to vote to give away their individuality, they're not voting for themselves. They're just collective. It's a collective of these votes. And if 51% of people say yes and 49% no, that 49% is just fucked where they stand. I think that's overreaching.
Because I think JF has a really good point, and I don't think it's an issue that'll be solved for a lot of us in a day. It is, where do we? And Uzulu brought this up on the stream, and I thought it was a very good question. Where do we step in to stop, to save the system from itself, or to save people from themselves? Do we put any sort of block on people's ability to? I think the example that he used was what if people voted in a party that wanted to get rid of democracy? I mean, should there be rules against that, or do you give people the individual freedom to do that? Is it paradoxical? Where do you draw the line? And I think it's a really good question. And JF, I think you have really good points, and you have really good. I mean, it's something that for me, it's not an easy answer, and I have to explore and I have to think about where I really sit when it comes to the nitty-gritty on it. I mean, am I going to be convinced one way or the other? I mean, as much as I value the individual, I understand that some sacrifices have to be made for the by the individual to exist within a society, just as it exists, for it to work and function. I mean, I'm not a socialist. I'm not ANCAP. It's something that I want to try to learn and grow and get better at. And I don't know. It's a hard question for me. It's
It shouldn't be that hard when you consider two things. First, I'm not suggesting that we would impose a libertarian world on a state that doesn't want it. So, of course, I would be in a situation where either I have popular support and we do it democratically, or we are in such a state of civil war that the survival of people is so dependent on the creation of that state that they essentially all agree, or they are in such shit that they are okay with it and they don't really care about it. That's one thing. There is no imposition of this system against the people's will. The second thing you need to consider is the history of human civilization and ask yourself this question: was there ever a new government founded on a new constitution that extended private liberties that led to a result that was worse than the last one?
I don't know.
Is there any point in the progress of individual liberties of Western civilization that you would walk back on?
I don't know enough about the specific history for it, but I definitely see a trend that I don't like. So
you see a trend that you don't like in the development of constitutions? I'm not asking in the development of the societies. I'm asking, do you think that constitutions improve or become worse with time?
They just become more restricting.
I mean, when it comes to the American Constitution, I think it gets better. I mean, the like the abolition of slavery and women's right to vote, things like that. But I definitely don't discount the possibility of things making it worse. For instance, you have the Prohibition Amendment, and then you have the prohibition of the Prohibition Amendment. So I want a document, a constitution, a set of ideas that can be amended within a system within clearly defined rules.
So you gave the example of a restriction of liberties. But what I'm asking is, as the constitutions were progressing to extending individual liberties to more people and extending what those liberties were, is there a liberty that you regret?
Is there a liberty I regret? None that come to mind.
Liberty that we currently have that you would walk back on?
None that I can think of. I mean, no. I mean, as long as they don't
running in the direction, and every time you run toward that direction, everything gets better. Would you continue in that direction if there's no sign that things are going to get worse?
I'd have to. You'd have to give me a second to think. This is all off the cuff and off the top of my head. Say that one more time. I honestly didn't quite catch the whole of it. Please say that one more time.
Suppose that you are running in a direction, and every step you take, each of them, you enjoy your life more. And there's no sign of a brick wall. There's no sign that anything that's been happening in your course will change, that things get better every step you took. Would you take the next step?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Let's take the next step together and free America.
I definitely agree with you there.
See, I think it's just rags. You know what's going to happen now, right?
Am I all right now?
I've been listening to this. It's very.
I think
it's hearing you just like think about all this stuff.
I like
but
this.
now,
This is great.
Sean or Vadim or someone's going to cut this stream and get you saying, you know what, you make a point there, and go, look.
Oh, I'm Nazi now.
Nazi, you're a Nazi, Nazi furry dog.
I think that what's so great is that I don't think I've really shifted so much in terms of like how it's hard to really state how I feel about it, because I want, like, if JF's world happened, it's like, yeah, let's do that. I'm worried about the transition. That's the thing. I'm worried about the transition. As I don't want people to be, discriminated against based on race. I don't want people's free speech to be infringed upon. All that stuff that we could pretty much all get behind. I don't want all that stuff to happen, but I want to roll back on the quotas and things like that. I want to roll back on people controlling what you can and cannot say. I mean, I look at the UK and hate speech laws, and it's just such a huge red flag for me. I want to avoid that at all costs, and I mean, whatever gets us there the best, I'm definitely down for.
This is what happened when I talked to V, because with what you've been agreeing with so far with JF, is this just seems like Federalist with extra steps.
Well, I'll have to look it up because I'm not too familiar with the whole thing, but I'll make a Google tab here, federalism, and I'll keep that up for later.
Like the Federalist Papers. So go look those up.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you're gonna have to think about that and check that stuff out. But I want to bring up one thing.
Yeah, boy.
Because I'll read some super chats in a second. But JF, you had your first experience on the Kumite today, right?
Yeah, that was pretty intense. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it. Yeah, Kumite is awesome. Everyone subscribe to Tonkasa. It's fucking awesome. Morning show / 7-hour stream.
Morning, afternoon, evening.
You talked about someone in particular, and he's in the chat and he's tweeting out and he's calling you out, JF. It's Mr. Fox.
Johnny Fox.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah, I called him an idiot. I called him an idiot. I mean, you can bring him on. I won't be owning this guy, but you can bring him on if you want. It's like I'm not gonna argue with this guy much, other than to say that he's an idiot.
All right, Johnny
let's do
Fox.
some Bud Sports.
And then while he's coming in, just real fast, the highlights of some super chats. Again, at the end of the show, we'll read more on order. Random City 327, $10. Everyone thinks that they see. Sorry, he fucked up that. They see and think that the world is right, but the way you see it, based off your own experiences in life, which everyone's experiences are different. Kida 2000, $10. Thank you very much. Like what you're doing, keep it up. Given his reactions to Rage Against Storm, how are things between you and some black guy? Have you had any disappointing YouTube fallouts? Me and him talked. We're fine. It's all good. Yeah, there was a few, but I've already talked about it enough. Gabriel Lopez threw $50. Holy shit, thank you. And he put a heart there. Frenchinator 2, $5. What is JF's I think he meant opinion on Joe Biden saying the reduction in Ethiopian stock is a good thing. So he fucked up that whole sentence.
What did it mean by Ethiopian stock? Did he mean the reduction of the number of Ethiopians in the U.S.?
I think that's probably what he means by that.
That's what I would assume.
Yeah, that's I think what he means.
I wouldn't say it in current America. You could say, for example, I want to reduce Ethiopian migration to a potential ethno-state. I wouldn't discriminate against citizens who are part of my country as an official in that country. You know, they have 14th Amendment rights as far as I'm concerned. The Ethiopians who are in America are Americans if they have acquired their papers legally. So no, I wouldn't agree.
All right, and then we get
shithole.
A Gareth Green, $5. JF, don't equate race and religion. A black majority America could have the same values. Muslim majority nations could not.
Already, as it stands, Muslim
right?
majority nations are very anti-Western ideas. So I understand what that is, at least a little bit.
A lot of people make a big case between the difference between race and religion. I don't that much, because when I care about racial groups, I care also about ethnic groups, because they have systems of inheritance that are both genetic and physiological and cultural. So personally, the fact that an ID transmits from brain to brain, if it characterizes a group, as far as I'm concerned, in all practicality, it's almost a race. Of course, we tend to think of race as more biological, more physiological, but it's a characteristic that's inherited. And I don't care if the copying process between the parent and the children is from brain to brain rather than DNA to DNA.
Would you consider, like the Jews, are they a race?
Yes, I would say they are a race, but you have to understand that the concept of race I use is an embedded concept. So yes, evidently the Jews have a lot of white genes in their population. They have been living along white nations, at least some of them have been. And so there's lots of interbreeding, and there's lots of actually just white guys who are joining the Jewish religion because they marry a Jewish girl, or vice versa, a guy woman marries a Jewish guy. So there's lots of mixing, and the Jewish race is probably embedded within the white race. But it's undeniable that they have selective breeding systems. In other words, they prefer fucking with each other, which leads to it being an embedded system of genetics within the larger embedded system of genetics of whites. which is also another container that is also embedded into the larger system of the human species as a whole.
Would you say that, like in America, like African American, well, blacks in America are predominantly vastly Christian? Is there any? I mean, what would you say about? Because, what's your opinion on, that being a factor when blacks in other parts of the world might not be, or the fact that both whites and blacks are predominantly Christian?
Well, what it means is that from a genetic perspective, humans are not bound to listen just to their parent. They are also bound to learn from society and integrate systems of belief that are present around them. We integrate systems of belief in the same way we integrate sugar and fat. We take what's available in our environment and we try to get the best out of it for ourselves and for our children. The same way Native American genes, they do not live in Native American societies anymore unless you're on a reservation. And even there, in fact, reservations have been so changed that at this point, if you're a pure Native American, you are living a lifestyle that has been heavily influenced by Western civilization. What it means is that the genes of human civilization, they are willing to take information that's out there and integrate it to their life. It also means that the genes of Native American, they've integrated to our population, such that even I have Native American genes, and my children will have Native American genes, but they won't wear feathers hats because these genes were also able to record other types of information, such as the atheist lifestyle, the secular lifestyle, the Western civilization lifestyle. It just means that the brain has been evolving to be plastic.
Speaking of which, actually, what's your opinion on Indian reservations existing?
Well, it's a tragic thing. Because on the one hand, I would like the Native Americans, to me, the Native Americans are an example of a true natural people that had the natural rights as Locke described them. They were living the way they were, and we invaded their space and we kept them from existing the way they were existing. To me, it's an eternal violation that we've done to the Native American people, and I'm forever willing to give them anything they want for them to restore some form of liberty. Now, the idea of reservation is also the creation of a subclass of citizen in your society, and it's also the creation of a part of your society that tends to be poorer. The statistics are clear about this. That tends to integrate less in society. That tends to be ghettos.
Yeah, a lot of reservations are really doing poorly. Yeah.
What really happened is that we invaded the ecological system in which Native Americans should have lived and could have lived. We fucked them, and it's sad.
Okay. Do you think that, like, in terms of, well, okay, that's good enough for now. I was just curious what you thought on the matter.
All right,
Blood
Johnny Fox, you're all over Twitter. You're all over the chat. People aren't. I have no idea what happened or what the fucking beef is. So what's up?
Well, never mind. I'm not going to take that route quite yet. You do know what's going on, though, Andy. You do know what's going on.
About what?
I'm just going to say that.
About what?
You can't come on here and blue ball us. Come on.
Andy, how many times have I come to you with this stuff that I got on this fucking guy? Same thing with Tonka.
On JF, you mean?
Yeah.
Come on. Just say it.
All right. Well, let's just let Andy off.
Yeah. I'm scrolling up. I'm scrolling up. I honestly, Ben, from things that you sent me, don't got anything on JF.
All right. Well,
if you want to scroll up from our DMs and stuff and let me know, maybe I missed it because he did send me a lot of shit that I missed.
Well,
and it piled up. So let me know.
Well, you'll hear it all through this as a reminder, I guess you'd say. And I'm sure the chat is already reading, which is very nice. So
they do that.
Oh yeah, that's the whole point because it's funny. JF, I do have a few questions for you that I would like to be cleared up, and I just want to ask you a few things if you would be willing to answer them for me.
I guess I'm not opposed. I don't find your presence particularly interesting right now, but I guess I'm willing to go with you on the questions, and maybe at some point I'll find that you're too stupid for me to continue answering. But go ahead.
Do you find me interesting?
He's already salty. I haven't even said anything yet. This might be Mundane Matt Part 2.
I'm salty because you won't tell us.
Curb your enthusiasm. It's not that impressive, Sinatra.
Then why'd you come here?
Because
I legit have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
Me neither.
All right, enough blue balling. Hey, JF, what happened between you and Duke?
What happened at Duke?
Why
I left
did you
Duke
get fired
because I
from
was.
Duke? Why did you get fired from Duke in 2015?
I've not been fired from Duke.
Then why are you not there anymore? Don't lie. I live like
decided...
10 miles from Duke. I know what happened. Just go ahead and tell me.
I'm going to go grab another
First, you don't know what happened if you start with these claims. I decided to stop my...
I didn't make a claim. I just asked you.
Hey, Johnny Fox, can I speak? Because if you ask a question and you don't let me respond, it's not very interesting. Okay. So I left my scientific career because I was not interested anymore in participating to state-funded science. I've decided to be a YouTuber and a self-employed guy in various jobs because I was not interested in that career anymore.
Is that your final answer for that?
That's pretty much it.
Are you sure it wasn't?
But I guess that Johnny Fox, the investigator, knows some shit. So go ahead, Johnny Fox.
Well, from what I've heard from people around Duke, since I know a lot of people up there, was actually because you were fucking students up there that you were actually teaching.
No, I fucked one of my colleagues.
Oh, that's what it was.
But it's not a problem, and it's not a reason to be...
All right, all right. Well, I got it wrong. It wasn't a student, it was a colleague. Okay. All right. So, what do you have to say about that ripoff report of you stealing $2,000 from a certain company? I don't know where they're exactly located yet, but it's on there, and someone referenced it in the super chat. You denied it altogether. It was from a company, I believe, called. Let me look it up. 100%.
Man, this live stream took a tonal shift.
So it's from a company called HQ Language Services. It says right here, it's a very long thing. If Andy wants to show it, or I can dump it in chat or whatever. But it is an allegation right here in their extremely terrible English that basically you worked for them. You tried to claim that you were a financial translator of some way or sort. You basically fucked up whatever you were doing, and they gave you one last shot. And then they were asking for a refund, which you refused to give to them, and a lot of other stuff. I have it right here. It's ripoffreport.com. Basically, I'll read you the quote, even though it's broken as shit. It says, the result was that I paid this guy more than $2,000 for his job. But after a week, the client wrote me telling me that the translation was a poor quality one, and that it has to be proofread from scratch. I asked Mr. Jean-Francois Garapé, letting him know about it and communicating with him that I wanted a refund, and I would have withheld a pending payment of $700 for another job he made until I would haven't known from the proofreader how much he owed me. When you are a consumer and someone sends you a bad quality product or a product different from the one that you paid, you have the right to ask for a refund. And since it was the second time, I really think that I have the right to have a refund. So I sent Mr. Jean-Francois Garapé the client's emails, proofreading files, and the client email, where as proofreading, he said that he was very happy with the quality after the person went and fixed the shit. Quality tested before by 2 French native speakers and a professional proofreader all agreed the translation was poor. This morning, Mr. Jean-Francois Garapé wrote me asking to be paid. I replied to him that I am still waiting for my refund, and I will immediately proceed with the payment after his refund. He said, quote, that's part of the risk I have to deal with, and he said he won't refund me, and he would have written everywhere that we are a scam agency. Now, if you check here at this link and here at this other link on the right side, that we're a serious agency, and every translator who cooperate with us to testified to it. Well, I have not. Fuck this goddamn English. While I have even discovered today that Mr. JF, well, it's your full name, but anyway, is not even a financial professional translator. He said to me that basically you told him you're a financial professional translator, which you lied to him. You're a neuroscience researcher. So even if smart, noting that he had to deal with the thing and something to do with this financial transaction. Then they have your resume here, which proves that you are not a financial translator and you lied to these people and took a bunch of money.
He has to deal with the thing.
So what do you say to all of that fucking filibuster I read off a rip-off report?
Well, I'll be happy to respond, but before I will comment, you must be feeling like a fucking retard to be bringing these ridiculous allegations when people like you have attempted in the last 2 weeks to accuse me of trying to drown an autist, raping an 11-year-old. All of it was false. Within the retards of the internet, you are the extra retard because all the dirt you have on me is a ridiculous business transaction that didn't work. Dude, you are low energy, Johnny Fox. But let's talk about it. So I love the fact that you mentioned that it's an allegation about me when in fact this post was started by me. When I do translation work with companies, either I will trust the company and I will do the work and they will pay after. But in this particular case, it was a company with which I hadn't had much interaction. I had some interactions with them, but I was not fully trusting them. And so what I ask is a payment of $2,000 for a certain job. Then I would deliver 2 jobs and then they would pay the $700 at the end. Now, I got, from my remembrance, I got a part of the amount, which was maybe the $2,000 or something around this. And then I said, okay, I'm going to do the work, and then you're going to pay me the $700. Now, I did the work, and it was quality work. First, I will deny one thing you said. You said I'm not a financial professional translator. I am. I'm sorry. I've been doing translation work for more than 10 years, and finances is one of the domain in which I'm an expert. Legal stuff is also one of the domain in which I do a lot of translation. And so that's false. What happened here is that they refused to give me the $700 and they didn't give me a chance to correct the text. They just claimed, oh, your text is bullshit, therefore we're not going to pay you. And they didn't give me a chance to correct what they claimed was bullshit. And in fact, they never indicated what the errors they claimed were occurring were. So they don't have any proof that this text was bad. So what I said is that, okay, you don't want to give me the $700. I have to warn my colleague translators. And this is a tradition in the translator business. When you're stuck with a corporation that doesn't pay you for the work you've done, you go into all sorts of websites that are specialized for translators and for business complaints. And you just say, look, this Italian translation company is a bunch of idiots who don't pay. That's what I did. Now, as a response to this, the person who was supposed to pay me and who refused to pay me for my work has published the ridiculous piece of crap that you just read, which you admit is written in such bad English that it's hard to read for you. This is someone who claims she owns a translation company to people wanting to publicize stuff in English. That's what your allegation is.
Can I ask you a follow-up question to this?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I'm enjoying this.
How fucking stupid are you to try to lie to my face when I have your resume right in front of me, your most current one?
Yeah, and what's in that resume?
It says right here, 09-2010 to current. Ethno Publications, Durham, North Carolina. This would be 8 years. You said you've been in financial translation for 10 years. On your resume, it says perform medical. Hold on.
What you need to know is that before working for Ito Publication, I was being a translator under another name than Ito Publication. So it's not a lie. I've been operating under a name called Les Productions Indépendantes du Québec, and I've been also operating as a self-employed person under my name, Jean-François Gariepi. So the next time you want to do investigative work, maybe you want to get some information. You want to meet a policeman and know how they really do it because you really suck at it, Johnny Fox.
Well, let me ask you, since your fucking resume is literally a filibuster, it looks like you've had everything.
How did you get his resume?
Yeah, it's on the rip-off
report. Our resume is
report.
probably publicly available.
It's
I mean,
on
it's
the
not a
rip-off
secret.
report. They actually uploaded your resume. It says it right here, all the way up until 2015. It says right here. There's nothing on here saying that you worked for that company before, but you have little shit like Neuro TV and something about Duke for 4 years.
You know what? I've done so much things in my life that bragging about the whole thing on my CV would be hindering my ability to get jobs. I actually have to hide stuff on my CV. For example, do you see anywhere on that CV where it says I'm a YouTuber? Oh no, but yeah.
How would you put that on your CV? Because that's really a job you would brag about.
Because Johnny Fox, the purpose of a CV is to convince a single employer.
You're just yelling over him. You don't have him on anything.
No, you tell a lot of people that you're a YouTuber and that's your job, and they're gonna look at you weird.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, JF, based on the information I have right here, you can tell me all the shit that you want, just like you try to tell people about your court case, which I read all 56 pages, by the way. You can tell them all sorts of stuff that isn't there, but I don't have any official documentation other than your word. And after all, I mean, you are French Coach Red Pill at this point, so I'm not exactly, gonna sit here and listen.
You know what you can do, Johnny Fox?
Are you legitimately like trying to get him on? Wait, you said 10 years, but here it says
really
8 years. What the fuck, dude?
Hold on, Andy. He didn't let me finish. It says right here, translation of legal, medical, and marketing documents. It says nothing about financial here.
Yeah, oh my God. You know what? I don't reveal everything on any CV I send. In fact, I design my CVs for single employers. And that's a tip I want to give to everyone who's listening on the chat. If you want to get a job, design a specific CV for each employer. They each are looking for specific abilities.
Okay.
Don't flood it with everything you are. Just focus. And this is exactly what I've done in that case. Except here we have an Inspector Gadget who's trying to conclude stuff based on incomplete information, and he believes that because the information is not there in the public space, that it's not true. What an idiot.
Okay, Jeff. Okay, I got a question for you. Since you just said you write your CV for whoever the hell you apply for, right? You were saying that you were applying, since this is the CV that the translation people for the financial said that you would, this is the CV you gave them, because this is the CV they put out. Why does it say nothing about your 10 years of quote-unquote financial translation experience? Wouldn't you put that on
because
there?
I got my original contract with these people in a context that did not require financial skills, so I didn't brag about it on my CV, as you can see from the CV you've downloaded. Now, what do you conclude about this, Inspector?
Johnny Fox, is there any way you can talk at double speed?
Huh?
Is there any way you can talk at double speed or something, man? This is dragging.
No, I'm not the one dragging. He's the one that talks at 3 miles a fucking hour.
JF talks pretty quick.
You're a fucking idiot then if you really think that.
Why are you going to come in here and just start saying dumb shit, dude? We're in the middle of a fucking conversation.
So because he's all over Twitter and saying all this bullshit. So he answered your questions, and every time he answers it, you try and find another, oh, wait, what about this? Like, what's the point?
Really? That's how you're going to play this, Andy?
No, I'm serious. Like, dude, do you think you have something here?
That is what you're doing.
Yes, I do. Because you're taking his answers based on what he's saying instead of what I have in documentation right here.
You have documentation that he fucking was a translator for 8 years, and now you're like, but you just said 10 years.
It looks like you have documentation for what he's put down, not what he actually is.
Well, how am I supposed to know that with that documentation?
That's actually a really good question, Johnny. How are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to know, Johnny?
Yeah, I don't think the right way of finding out is coming onto a stream with 3,100 people and acting like
Johnny, is he guilty or innocent based on what you've said?
He's guilty.
He's guilty.
Of what?
Of what?
Of financial fraud.
What part of that is fraud?
None of what you
He's
said.
He's the one who didn't get paid.
You started off with an allegation.
Articles.
Yes, that's hearsay is not admissible in a court of law.
I read it on the internet. It must be true.
You also know that just because a resume doesn't have it doesn't mean that he's not qualified to do it.
So let me ask you all something. Why is it that we've all of a sudden gone to listen and believe when I'm looking at something that is sourceable that I can give you a link to?
Johnny,
I can give you a link to that the moon is made of cheese. It doesn't fucking make it real.
Because until you prove that someone's done something bad, I'm not going to believe that they've done something bad.
Hey, Johnny
Fox, a white knight, go ahead.
Fox, let me teach you a principle about life.
If you want to be a white knight for this fucking guy,
Johnny
just like he was white knight for Coach Red,
Johnny
you
Fox,
haven't demonstrated
I'm going to teach you something that will be useful in your entire life. Learn about this.
How to fuck retards?
Listen to this. I'm about to drop it, Johnny Fox.
Oh, dude, tell me, retard fucker.
No, wait. Just prepare your mind. Prepare your mind, okay? Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence.
That's the hill you're on.
I'm gonna die on that hill.
I'll die on that hill any day.
Okay, see, this is what people say when you're caught fucking up and you just double down. Sometimes you just got to take the L and go, man.
Man, just because Johnny, just because his resume doesn't have something on it doesn't mean he is not qualified to do that thing. And people, when you go on here, normally you want to convince people that other people are pieces of shit. And based on what I've heard, I do not think any lesser of JF. There is absolutely no grounds for it.
All right. Well, that's your opinion. I don't care about your opinion.
If you sent me like a document,
I sent you all this shit over a week ago.
Look, so you could go on medium.com, search Andy Warski, and find out that I'm homophobe, misogynist, murderer, like all this horrible shit that's obviously fake. And then you could bring it up here and be like, well, Andy, look at this article. You said that article isn't even written in fucking proper English, dude.
Andy, that's a straw man. We're talking about his resume, not the article right now.
He just admitted that his resume isn't 100%. Like, he puts different shit on his resume. That's a good thing.
Presented to them.
Dude, I had three resumes, dude, before. One that was specific for being a butcher, right? One that was specific for working in like service and like whatever. Right? Yeah, and then I had one for media. I had 3 different resumes. I didn't put absolutely everything in each one.
Yeah, I had 2 completely different resumes. One for merchandise and one for carpentry. It's just because I don't put I did 5 years at Best Buy on my carpentry resume doesn't mean I didn't do it.
You should hire me to be with your company because I have a YouTube channel.
Exactly. It's not a straw man if he's reading what you said, dude.
Fucking sit here and I'm supposed to have a conversation with JF and I have these 2 chuckle fucks right here trying to interject and try to.
You came into this conversation. You have a channel you can go fire up a stream on.
Fox, you came on. I gave you. I saw you on Twitter. You DM'd me. I saw you in the chat. I saw all this stuff. I gave you the chance. You came in here. You show all this stuff. And then we're just like, all right, well, and now you're saying you're going to die on this hill or you're white knighting. I'm not, look, if you showed me something that was actually intense and I had actual questions, I would start questioning JF.
I would tell you to get a room with him, but you might have to get in line. Oh, yeah.
All right, so if you're going to argue in bad faith, I don't see any point in
that. You came here. Dude, you came here.
Nobody
if you wanted to come
for your opinion, Sinatra, you fucking
sit down, little kid. You just need to take a step back before you fall and hit your head on the fucking keyboard.
You don't get to walk in here and accuse people of arguing in bad faith when you literally are calling him a retard fucker.
He is a retard fucker.
Dude, if you wanted to get on Andy's show, all you had to do was ask. You didn't have to make an asshole out of yourself.
Oh, wow. So you're going to try to say, oh, I came here just for the fucking views. I came here.
Why else are you here if not to talk to Andy and JF?
Maybe he has like a masochist fetish.
I argue with JF because he's been a coward going around the fucking Kumite.
So you interrupt a conversation we had. You could have gone on the Kumite. You could have gone on your channel. You could have done this anywhere, but you decided to come here for some specific reason. And it couldn't be the fact that it's on Andy's channel. You could have waited till tomorrow.
Joy Sparkle Sinatra, do you?
I'm not white knighting. I'm just calling you an idiot because you're acting like an idiot.
No, I'm trying to have a conversation with JF, and you just keep trying to jump in
because we were in the middle of a conversation, and you came in here talking dumb shit.
Okay, all right, like Fox. Okay,
I was brought in here to argue with JF. The DM from Andy says, "Will you battle him?" That's what I came in here for.
He answered you.
He answered you. Do you have any response? Do you have any response?
Response to what? The fact that he's fucking lying, he's just adding shit to it.
Lying about what? Lying about
what? You
have
yet to provide evidence to substantiate the claim that he's lying about anything.
All right. Do you want me to just send you a fucking, like, there's his fucking resume right there.
If it's just what you read out, I don't know what point that will be. Telling me the same thing twice is not going to change my mind.
Okay,
I'm going to go on.
This isn't going anywhere.
Let's move on. We were doing.
Hang on. I have a question.
All right.
I'm looking at his fucking resume right now. All right. He has subject areas in literally more things than I can read here without boring everyone. A lot of fucking shit, right?
Yeah, it's like 5 lines of stuff.
A voiceover. He's got a PH fucking D. His skills he has a lot of skills here. He puts his work history. If we're looking down here, it's a lot of fucking shit, right? We scroll down to his accomplishments and awards.
Wait, Andy.
Huge. Yep.
Actually, if you go to subject areas, finance is in there.
That moment when Johnny Fox can't read.
Oh.
I mean, I just control F to finance and it lit right up.
Oh. Okay. And my point is, look, volunteer positions. He has a bunch of shit and software, Adobe Acrobat, Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, blah, 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 all this other shit, right? If he's got all these qualifications and fucking a PhD, what makes you think that lying about 2 years as a translator means anything?
I think I would know how long I've been in a particular field.
Oh my god!
But he's got literally more things than like this seems fucking ridiculous. Like, he's a very smart person, has a lot of accomplishments.
His resume has a scroll bar.
By all his PhD.
That's it's like my marketing resume. It's not even my entire life.
Okay, here, let's just do
CV. It's 50 page.
Just do the math on it. If I wasn't at Best Buy for 5 years, I was at Best Buy for 4.5. I said 5 years. Oh no.
And besides, I mean, when do you start? I mean, if you work before, apprentice work or journeyman work.
Yeah, and I want to say, I didn't lie about the 10 years. I was actually translator before I started working on Ito Publications, the new company name that I was starting. I've been translating for as long as I can remember.
Well, you've done a really shitty job to get that type of rip-off report, sir. Just saying.
Well, I can understand them.
I'm totally happy with the rip-off report post, because it informs other translator that this person is not to be trusted. Now, that doesn't mean they won't do business with her. It means if you want to do business with her, you're better if you ask her to pay in advance. Are you for the payment of workers, Johnny Fox?
Fucking communists.
Nice try there. Would you like to talk about your court case now?
Oh boy,
I don't like to talk about it because it's clear that you don't have an understanding of what you read. So I think it's ridiculous to continue this. No one is interested. Literally, no one on the internet is interested in what you have to say at this point.
Can we?
He's explained this on 2 streams already.
I don't care what he says. I care what the
let the chat vote.
What do you mean? I thought this was a discussion. You don't care what he has to say.
Let the chat vote. Get some ones in the chat if you want us to go back to what the fuck we were talking about before.
All right. Well,
if you want to be like that, if you want to get the debate with Johnny Fox,
you want to be like that. Fuck you then. Dan. All right. Fuck y'all.
Fuck you, Dan.
Give you a fucking chance, and he's explained this already twice. He's bringing fucking Destiny to court.
Oh, so if he says something that automatically means that he's automatically right, he's always
all you can
pill, right?
No, you fucking don't.
Johnny, it sounds like you've got a bone to pick, and all of this is based off of you just not liking him.
Yeah, if you don't like him, just say that shit.
I would like to discuss this with him, but I have 2 cucks and basically
you literally just said you don't care what he has to say.
Interest in the fucker trying to interrupt me the entire fucking time. That's what it seems like.
What interest?
Doing the world a service.
What interest do Rags or I have? Rags has the biggest channel here. What's he white knighting for?
The only interaction I've really had with JF has been tonight, and we don't agree on everything. We agree on a lot of things, but he seems to be a pretty upstanding guy, and you have yet to convince me otherwise.
Why are you even injecting your opinion in an argument that's supposed to be between me and JF?
Why are you injecting yourself in a stream that didn't fucking involve you?
Andy,
Johnny, who the fuck are you? Who are you?
He sent me the invite link. He said, do you want to battle him?
Who are you with your TYT levels of journalism?
Let's talk about this new shit that you were fucking reading in the chat and Twitter and everything. You came in, I look at his resume, and I'm just like, what's the problem here?
Johnny Fox Show.
I just think it's funny that you're going to call me a cuck, but you almost got beat up by Mundane Matt.
Almost got beat up by Monday Matt. That's funny.
Nah, I'm not gonna. I don't back up I don't back up that.
Me neither.
You're live streaming this on your channel, debating JF on Warski Live. Okay.
It's a dual. Okay, let's go check out. Let's see how many people are watching this shit.
Oh, 39.
Because that really matters.
I'm just. I've never heard of you before. I'm just
for my own sake, honestly.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, I don't think Andy would take it down.
No.
You never know.
Well, see, just little things like that. Why can't you operate in the idea that other people don't have to be saying everything or doing everything in Malafides? Can't you maybe give people the benefit of the doubt a little bit? You know, it goes a long way.
No.
You know, in discussions.
No, I don't.
All right. Well, okay. That's your deal, I guess.
Look,
I'm not like that.
Fox.
I'm not even trying to be.
Sometimes Fox has been right about things. He's been, he's called people out. I've agreed with him. I'm not saying this makes me not agree with you ever. I just think on this one that you don't have any evidence to really back up this claim.
Dude, even your own chat's saying you're kind of embarrassing yourself.
Hey, Johnny, is this the hill you want to die on?
Oof.
All right, well, if you want to make me basically your next crazy hair, that's fine.
I'm not doing that, dude.
No, we would not for a second, Johnny, not for one single second.
Dude, he's knocked out. He's knocked out. We have to pick him up now.
We would never insult crazy hair like that.
If I'm wrong about something, and JF or Tonka or whoever called me out, you think I'm gonna be like, well, you hate me now, and I'm the next crazy hair? No, it's not that at all, man. At all, I swear. I just think you're wrong about this. Okay.
We disagree on one thing, and then we move on with our lives.
The difference is that, like, JF and I can disagree on something, but I'm not going to act like he's coming from a place in bad faith or that his heart's not in the right place, But when you come in here, this is the first time I've ever heard you, and you seem very combative, and you seem to have an attitude about you that isn't constructive. It makes me think very poorly of you right off the bat.
And you can never shake those first impressions.
I honestly don't care what you think of me, Sinatra. I really don't.
I've talked to you before.
When?
You and I have talked like 3 times. This isn't the first time I've ever talked to you.
I don't remember it. So, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter.
All right, Fox. Look, I don't know what to say. I think you're wrong about this. Okay, so. Do you have something else?
Do you have anything else?
I would rather continue this on Kumite, where I would not have all this opposition. Do it playing fucking goalie for JF.
I'm not. Oh, Jesus.
Hey,
Christ.
Look, I call him as I see him, mate. If you give me the smoking gun and the dirty britches here, I'll be the first to go. Wherever the evidence points or where everything substantive leads me. But right now, it's not looking so good.
Look, Fox, if you want to set up Kumite with JF and Tonka...
Tonka's not interested in doing Kumite with that. I've already talked to him.
I can't imagine why.
You just said you wanted to go on the Kumite with it.
Well, I don't know. Fuck it. Whatever. Hey, Andy, I got a guy that actually wants to come in that actually has researched just a bit more.
Well, what is this, the Bash JF stream? I thought we were talking about shit.
Dude, tag team.
Well, this guy actually, has some really pertinent points that he found out about JF.
Why are you digging through the motherfucker's life? Because you disagree with him.
Well, I don't disagree with him on the race realism thing. I think he's just a piece of shit as a human being.
Ow.
Well, you realize you don't have to interact with him. If you don't like it, you can avert your fucking eyes.
Well, I just chose not to because I think it's funny when people read about their fucking God King on the internet.
I'm not, dude.
Who's reading?
JF a God King?
Bring something to me that I agree with, then I will agree with you. Okay?
I'm not going to make you look like shit on your own show, Andy. I have enough respect.
Oh, Jesus. Come on. If you got something to say it, dude.
Crazy hair? Is this the crazy hair shit?
No, I don't. Fuck crazy hair, too, because she's getting on my damn nerves lately.
So is everyone. From what I hear.
Okay, what's your point? What's your point about that?
Your point is, I have brought this up to you so many times before, and you just always moved right past it. We never really discussed this shit. Look in the DMs. I brought it up how many fucking times?
You said he's not regretting that. My DMs are packed. There's a lot of times where you send me 10 DMs.
Look, all I'm saying is I've tried to bring this up to you.
Okay.
Tit Sargon said Johnny Fox.
Andy replies to my DM.
Is this
a guilty verdict?
Is this the bad guy? Alt-right, alt cap right?
No.
Okay.
Andy replies to about half of my DMs, so don't feel too bad, Johnny.
He replies to all of mine.
He likes the doggo.
He writes them in all caps.
He just yells at your DMs. So seriously, what's your beef with JF, Johnny Fox?
Are you actually going to let me explain it for once?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, go for it.
If it's more than just I just think he's an asshole.
I think that he has done some really objectionable things in his life that I think are, when people want to try to shit on Coach Red Pill all the time, which I think he's a piece of shit too. I don't see why that same standard isn't applied to JF when he does similar tactics.
Is honesty a tactic?
No.
I don't know.
I'm not on that stupid meme. No.
May you give me a clue? Like, what the fuck am I looking for?
Here's the point. He has all these people that come to me saying that I'm lying about the fact that he fucking went off and pretty much got that fucking retarded chick to move out here for pretty much what I think is the express purpose of just trying to get some chick pregnant for an anchor baby. That's my opinion. And I've read through the court documents where people will lie about what's in the court documents by saying that the report that says that she had all these different handicaps was done when she was 12, when it was actually done 1 month before the court case ended. And it's actually dated the page above in that court document.
So here's the simple
I didn't
response
see that,
to
first
this.
of all. That's my answer. I didn't see that. You have a lot of DMs to me. I apologize. I don't catch all, because you sent me like over a few days, and then I check them, and then I scroll up and go, this is too much to read. Read your most recent one. Hey, what's up? That's what I do. So I didn't see that. JF, do you want to explain? Because it's not my fucking.
Yeah. So as far as the claim that I was in love with this woman for the purpose of having an anchor baby, my citizenship in the U.S. was guaranteed at the moment I started my relationship with her, because I was married to a previous woman in the U.S., which guaranteed my U.S. citizenship even after the divorce. So this story with this girl has nothing to do with having an anchor baby. In fact, I already have a child. Which gave me at the time. No, but I would answer to all the allegations, because it's important. I don't leave these allegations hanging there without a response. So no, having any sort of relation with this woman did not help my situation in the US, and I could have stayed in the US if I wanted, with this girl or without this girl. The second thing is, the claim that she is mentally 12 years old is false. She suffered from an handicap, but she was a consenting adult. She was 19 years old, and I loved her, and my goal was to live my life with her. It didn't turn out that way, but that was my intent. As far as the claim that she is 12 years old of age, this was done by a liar, not a psychiatrist. It was done by a liar who wanted her to be found unable to consent. And at all time in this proceeding, she has maintained that she was happy with me, that she wanted to have a relationship with me, and I wanted to have a relationship with her. And she had the right to benefit from that relationship the way she wanted, because she was a consenting adult.
Well, I think you're lying about the psychiatrist, and if that is true, then you can get her on perjury and put her in jail. Now,
no, she did not claim the things you claim.
Hold on, I'm speaking.
By the way, Johnny Fox, you misunderstand something about the law. A liar cannot be sued for perjury.
So the doctor was also a lawyer at the same time somehow.
No, the doctor, there's no doctor that claimed that she was 12 years old of mental age. That is a claim that a liar has done.
Documents to prove that, actually.
Yeah, just name me the name of the doctor. We'll have a good laugh, because we're going to Google his name, and you're going to find out that he's not a doctor. It's going to be freaking funny. Go for it.
Telling me the court appointed a doctor that's not a doctor just to piss you off.
No, it was the opposing lawyer. Is not a doctor. It's not even a doctor. Just name me the name. Name me the name of the doctor. Just try, Johnny Fox.
Let me get the court document again.
I'll fire up the Google machine.
And now we'll learn the difference between a court document and a liar making allegations. And it's going to be fun, and it's going to be educational.
I'd like to apologize to the chat. I know a lot of you are like, "What the fuck?" Could you end this shit?
You guys
if you were gay, this wouldn't have been an issue.
You guys in the chat should still like the stream though. Get Andy up over 1,000 likes.
Yeah. This
I'm looking for this. I do have a question for you. Why were you trying to hook up with the 19-year-old autistic chick literally 2 weeks after you had a newborn baby?
Johnny Fox's fake news.
It was not 2 weeks after I had a newborn baby. She came to my home about 6 months after I had a newborn baby. The reason it was so fast, if you want to judge it as fast, is that the person with whom I had the baby left while she was pregnant. So while she was pregnant, she left me with the baby and in fact abducted the baby at birth.
So you're saying
so I was left alone for at least 1 year. I was a single for I was single for 1 year approximately before I even saw this girl that you're talking about. Do you think that 1 year is good enough, or do you think that I should wait 2 years to get?
I think it's funny that you literally were grooming an autistic chick 1 month less than 1 month after you had a baby.
Yeah, that baby was abducted, unfortunately, and I was looking to redo my life. What?
Oh, so you think that if you have a woman that you knocked up, that you're getting divorced from, that she fucking dumps you and moves out? That's
let me correct you. I didn't get divorced from this woman. She left the home while being pregnant and abducted the child at birth.
So is it okay for mothers to take the children away from their fathers? Johnny?
I can see why JF is very passionate about the court case.
Do you have anything to do with the kid now, or is this just another kid you just dropped off?
Well,
I didn't drop off the kid. Let me repeat you. My kid was abducted at birth
or did you just
by his mother.
7 kids you probably got by now.
I don't have 7 kids.
Deadbeat father, deadbeat scientist, deadbeat human being. It's funny as shit, man.
Who are you?
So you like hitting on human beings like this?
So how is he a deadbeat father if the mom left? No, I'm okay. Why is he a deadbeat father if the mom left? He didn't make that decision. He didn't walk out on that child's life. Why is he a deadbeat father if the mom left?
Do you believe everything that comes out of this man's mouth?
I'm asking you a question.
Right now, I believe him a whole lot.
You a question. Do you believe everything that came out of this
I believe what he's saying right now, yes.
I do.
Well, listen and believe. Look at this. Skepticism.
So are we supposed to listen and believe you? You've made no fucking proof that he abandoned this woman. Oh, that silence is fucking deafening.
Right now, you're walking into
Why
a conversation.
Why shouldn't we be skeptical about you?
10-0.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
should be skeptical of me. I'm a prick. I'm like this.
So why can't you answer that very simple question?
What? The one about is it being a deadbeat dad if like the woman leaves?
Yeah, how does that make him a deadbeat dad?
How do I know that he's actually tried to make any? So I don't see any fucking courts where he's trying to get the kid back.
How does it make him a deadbeat dad?
He's not taking care of the kid. He's not trying to get it back.
So this case, by the way, to correct you, Johnny Fox, this case is currently in the North Carolina Court of Appeal, where I'm seeking to get a non-just decision by the trial court to be reverted. So to say that I don't try to get the kid back is absolutely ridiculous. I've learned the law so I could get the kid back.
Is that why you lost your court case with the chick? Because you represented yourself, since you know the law so well?
I lost the court case with the chick because the system of probate courts and of hearings in probate courts that are done against the people's consent and in their absence, which is referred to as ex parte probate hearing, is a system of violation of individual rights, where a girl who wanted to be in a couple with me was told by the state that she could not. You support this, Johnny Fox?
Well, if she's legally incapacitated, like the document said, sure, why not? Take her back.
And do you support the fact that she was beaten by her father and that I was physically abused by her father also?
I don't care about that.
That's not very empathetic
about physical assault.
Well, why didn't you take it? Why didn't you fucking call the cops on him?
I did. Yeah, I did. And you know what they told me? They told me that they could not sue her father for beating her because he was in a different state.
All right, whatever you say. Yeah. So you said he assaulted you. So you pressed charges. Where's he at now? Is he in jail for 3 years or anything?
No, I just told you they will not pursue an interstate case of physical assault. They don't care.
All right, he's talked about this on numerous streams, numerous times.
Remember when we started this stream talking about people who'd already made up their mind and wouldn't change it no matter what?
All right, so Fox, anything else, buddy?
That'll be it.
All right.
All right, the court is adjourned.
Press F to pay your respects to Johnny Fox.
Christ.
Press F's.
You know, it's why I don't consent to these things, because I know it's gonna be a pile of crap. That's why, just for the audience, I'm like, I cannot tell Andy I want it to happen. That's why I reject the offer. But I say, if Andy makes the decision to bring him on, we'll have him on.
Andy, why are you violating JF's individual rights?
You know, if he told me he didn't want to do it, like I would have been like, okay, fine. Like, but Jeff, you fucking. That was like, I was like, what do we? This is
what I'm faced with every day for the last month, because a bunch of SJWs have decided to spread fake information about me, which I've been for years revealing. If you go back to my Facebook post of the time, I'm like, guys, there are women out there making false allegations against me. And so I've revealed this fact years ago, and I have these people who now look for these false allegations, and they don't understand legal stuff, so they believe that any document that ends up in a court is a court document. No, it's a bunch of people who tried to impede on my personal liberties and on the liberty of a young woman who wanted to be with me, and who have not seen since she was kidnapped by her father. And she was judged as incompetent to dispose of her own body by the state of Texas. That's horrible.
And why during this stream? Like I said, an artist who had just accepted a drama commission for me is being hassled and harassed by SJWs just because they did something for me and they don't like me.
He's literally all day, all morning, all afternoon, has not stopped on Twitter and all that. So I was just like, all right, fine, hop on. That was uncomfortable.
That was really uncomfortable. It's really hard to watch someone just beat themselves up in public.
Yeah, so, and there's a way.
You've embarrassed yourself in the public space.
Why are you in here? Who's this?
Hi. I just wanted to come in here very quickly. I'm sorry to interrupt your show, Andy. You have a nice show. So Johnny is a dumbass. I think we can all agree on that.
I already like him better.
I'd like to apologize to you, JF, even though I don't really much agree with you on certain things. I'd like to apologize because Johnny doesn't fucking understand anything. And
wait, are you a friend of his who got invited in here to go sorry for Johnny?
Yeah, did he give you the link?
No, he gave me the link thinking that I was going to come in here and own JF, but like, no, you don't understand. Like, you guys don't understand. For the past 20 minutes, everyone in his live stream and everybody in his Discord, including me, have been telling him over and over, shut the fuck up, Johnny. Shut the fuck up. You are owning yourself. And people are still doing that as live chat right now, I'd imagine. But, like...
First impressions.
This isn't the first time he's spurred out and gotten owned either, so I don't even know.
You're not very notorious.
I know I'm not. That's the joke.
Oh, I see. I get it. The old bait and switch with the nomenclature there. I see.
So like
for letting us know.
I like your content, Rags.
Well, thanks very much. Thanks. Even if I'm a anti-white Jew loving statist.
Wow, I did not expect that at all.
That
was great for that last punchline. I don't care whoever was angry at the stream for the last 30 minutes. Come on, that was like the longest joke with the greatest punchline.
Whoever, you're a good friend because you just came and picked your friend up off the floor and carried him out.
Well, I've been trying to get him for the last 20 minutes to ask Andy to let me come on here and fucking help Johnny out of the hole he just dug himself into, but it's too late. He's never gonna recover from this. I'm not gonna let him recover from it.
He was just streaming our stream and took it down in like the past 2 seconds.
Is it gone? Oh wait,
Yes.
I still have it.
Yeah,
I still have it up.
I'm definitely going to be ragging on him.
If I refresh the page, refresh the page, the video's unavailable now.
Yeah, don't refresh.
But,
it's okay. It's nothing you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, I don't know. He seemed to have this delusion that he was gonna come in here and fucking just own JF with some subjective fucking goalpost moving, and I told him even before he did this that's not going to work, Johnny. You need to come in here with fucking guns blazing proof and fucking all your shit.
See, now we need animal control. We got a fox on the loose. Oh shit!
Yeah, we do have a gay fox on the loose, and his balls are covered in fucking peanut butter.
Listen, animal control violates my individual rights.
You're the inside dog. It's fine.
Yeah,
we have a fox that clawed its way into the door.
They're like the foxes are like the spurgy cousins of the canine genus or whatever. I don't know, family, whatever.
Cassie B on the chat gives the tip that Jeff Holiday had given to his collaborators: do not debate JF if you don't have a PhD.
That was, that's a Kronos fucking clip right there. Hey, Kronos, I hope you like that one.
I think I need a fucking cigarette. I'll be right back.
Oh, damn it.
You know what we should do? Do post show now, JF, if you're down.
Wait,
your super chats. Don't forget your super chats.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah,
post show.
Post show is us talking. We hang out, so we don't have you guys in here, so we could just focus on the chat and chill and answer questions and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. By the way, chat, I am not Jewish. I am not Jewish.
Do you guys want a memento for this stream? I still have Johnny's stream, even though he removed it, up. And I can see the dislike ratio, and the comments are still going, even though he took the stream down.
Yeah, it was scrolling away rather fast for that many viewers too.
Hey man, I'm pretty sure the beatdown was enough. This is
no reason to be mean.
Pissing on the corpse.
Let's give a lesson to YouTubers, because Johnny Fox has been having lots of dislike on a video he made about me 5 days ago, making that kind of allegations. When your own audience tells you through the dislikes, like 75%, that sucks, you have to listen to this. There's a reason why people do it.
It's hard to get your own audience to turn against you, and when you got like to dislike ratio, it's not. It's not an authority, but it could be tough to do it.
Regs, you're. I don't know if you know like the whole history of Johnny Fox, but
I do not know.
He's done some very questionably objectionable things.
I don't believe it for a second. Oh no. Wait,
his audience has a love-hate relationship with him. Oh, I could go on, but I think the juiciest piece of meat.
Wait, Andy, I think I got something for you here.
Huh?
What?
Michael Rowland's Music Man Mike is on Twitter right now bitching that he's not invited on the stream.
Oh, okay. Send him a link.
I'm going to drop him a link.
Yeah. What?
Oh, he blocked me on Twitter. I remember that name.
Like, what does he want to be on the stream for? For what?
He's just saying that okay, let me read it for you.
I don't know of him too well, so
let me just
I would read his tweets, but he has blocked me, and we haven't actually interacted, I don't believe. So he's one of the guys who will block people on social media without having interacted with them.
So he said, so far I've asked both Lacey Green and Andy Warski if I can come on their platforms.
Never
have an open discussion. Silence for both of them. Apparently, I'm not enough of a transphobic, science-denying racist.
Never asked him. I never asked him.
I dropped him the link and I said, "Come on."
I go, Michael. Hang on.
Here, I'll put his Twitter in the side chat.
Well, I'm gonna see if he emailed me.
Who the fuck emails people?
Email.
Hey, emails are useful.
And at replies are pretty like redundant. It's fucking packed in there, so.
Those can be really hard to find. Yeah, I'm blocked from this guy on Twitter.
Who is this person?
Number 5 on YouTube right now, trending.
Oh shit,
sweet.
for real?
Official third gen to the left. Yeah, he's blocked me on Twitter.
He's an interesting one.
You know what? We should. Okay, look, we'll invite him. I think we should wrap up, like do post show. It's getting late.
Oh my God. He just said he can't come on until February. The fuck out of here, dude.
Okay. Well,
I'm not.
All of a sudden, I don't feel that bad that I can't see his tweets.
I'm not in the. I'm not going to release mine in his DMs because we chat a bit. But I'll show this screen grab real quick.
Sinatra, ask him why he's blocked me on Twitter, and I don't believe we've ever had a discussion.
Yeah, just present me real quick.
Andy never invited me on.
Oh my God. What,
If
he wants you to...
You say something like, can we schedule something in the future? You start off with that, not, how come they never invite me on? And then, I mean...
Well, DM him, hey man, February's open for you.
No, tell him to unblock me and tell him to not be a bitch.
Nothing planned for February yet. So
I said February's open on Black Rides.
Sorry, JF, is your schedule open for February at any point?
Yeah, February. I'm pretty free right now. I have nothing booked. Yeah. I think a sword will be pending over the head of Warski Live until we meet that guy who has something important to say in February.
Sword of Damocles above Andy Warski's head.
Everyone, mark your calendars. February.
Mark it's the shine.
Just at some point.
Just circle the whole thing.
Oh, he said he'll unblock you, Regs. Hold on.
Oh, okay. I don't care about
very productive ending here we're having on the show. Good job. We have a February show scheduled.
Just a show sometime in February.
Be here February, guys. Be here on
February leftism.
You should have only black guests in February.
Yeah, let's do
it. To celebrate the shortest month of the year.
Hopefully music actually brings an argument to JF, unlike somebody else.
All right, well...
Annika O'Brien in the chat said, let me on right now.
Who?
Annika O'Brien.
Who's Annika O'Brien?
I only caught it because there's a check next to her name. Let's go to her channel.
It must be important.
Hidden subs. That's not a great start.
Verified. Annika O'Brien. I want to know who this person is. And
I'm just gonna watch the end of her
hidden subs.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the end of her political compass test.
Videos.
Jeremy Hambley, Magic of the Gathering, Malcolm.
You know what? I think she wanted to battle Roosh V. I think she was one of those.
She's
that would be awesome.
Right.
Libertarian right. Awesome. That's fair enough. I like the libertarian right for the most part.
Okay, well, go fuck yourself, Anna.
You and me both.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm no ANCAP though.
Hey, look, we'll do some post show.
He's free sometime in February.
All right, be here February, guys.
No.
February will be the big month.
If you want to
smash that refresh button all February.
Annika O'Brien.
She's a roboticist. Oh, that's fucking awesome. I'd like to talk to a roboticist. Annika,
that?
Follow me on Twitter. I'd like to get you on.
What is that?
It's a person who works on robots. What the fuck do you think?
Roboticist? It could be anything. It could be like an ideological position based on artificial intelligence or some shit. I don't know. Roboticist. Not she builds robots. He's like, oh, well, fancy pants roboticist. Oh, okay, I didn't know that's what they were called.
Yeah, Annika, well, just throw me an email and we'll get you because this is we should wrap this up. Do you want to do okay? We always do final thoughts here before we let the guests go, and then we will talk to the chat and read some super chats. Sinatra.
Don't be a Johnny Fox, people.
Don't be a Johnny Fox. Be a Rags doggo.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for being on, buddy.
All right, I'll see you.
See ya.
And Rags.
Hey, it was good to be on. I'm glad I got to talk to JF, and I'm gonna be talking to a lot of the guys in the liberalist chat to talk about things. We should really hem some things out, and if we really don't line up on a lot of stuff, then I'll stick around to criticize them. I'll agree with them where I do. I think it's been really good for me to get these questions asked to me and try to peg down what I think. Because for the most part, it makes me a better person. I don't think I've really shifted on my beliefs. It's just a matter of me trying to peg down where I really stand because I'm floaty on some subjects.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was very productive.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You're very open-minded too, which is good, right? A lot of people are giving you a shit at first, but
it's the same bunch saying the same things. Like he's anti-white and he's a Jew and it's just stupid trolley stuff that you always see. But there were some good questions. And if that's the price I have to pay from some anonymous chat users for me to become a better person or for me to really discover my, finer point ideology, then I'll pay it. No problem with me. I'm made of tougher stuff than that.
It comes with the territory, Regs.
It does. It does.
Well, as always, man, thanks for being on, and I'll give you a shout soon.
Bye-bye.
That means get the fuck out of here, Regs.
What? Let me press the...
Get your fucking face out of here.
Wait, what's that?
Kind of awkward.
Huh? What?
What? Okay.
No. All right, bye, buddy. Fucking retard. I'm just kidding. I love Rags. The notorious Max Sand.
Now
I know you were in here for 3.5 minutes, but
now I am notorious because I'm on Andy's stream. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you, Andy, for being a good sport and letting me come on here to explain that, even though I wasn't invited. And to all of your audience and you, most of all, and especially you, JF, I'd like to apologize because, again, Johnny's a fucking dumbass and he just dug himself into a hole. And that's really about it. Don't be Johnny Fox, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be an IQ of potato.
Wait.
All right.
I'm getting a call from the Liberalist Skype group.
Oh, no. The Liberalists are at the door.
Hear you guys. Hang on.
See you guys.
Bye-bye, Notorious.
Hey, hang on. The Liberalist, the entire liberalist.
Oh my god! You just discovered their nest. We need to do this thing in the egg.
V added me. He's like, trust me, it's good. I'll call the whole group back.
Is it a call? It's like, is there the phone?
Tell Rags he's dead to us. I will. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So you might have to take a.
We did it again, Andy.
Dude, that number 5. Interesting talk. Rags was very open-minded, which was cool. Sinatra asked some good questions. We went over the thing I want to talk about, and we also got some blood sports in there and a really funny fucking ending. That was awesome.
It connected a lot to the ideas we've been exploring. I've been throughout the stream talking about individual liberty, and there's this guy who is exactly the kind of problem we have to deal with in society.
Yeah, man. You might have to take a quick a washroom break.
Yeah, sure. Put me some super chats on the screen.
Oops. I almost just revealed the chat. There we go. Yeah, I almost put the fucking chat link. That would be bad times. All right, one second, buddy.
All right, so we have Oscar François de Jargeis, $5 US. Andy Uggs, love you so much. Love you too, Oscar. $5 US Merc V1. Okay, Red Pill Loose, $5 Canadian. Fuck the commie scum, love capitalism. Pop TV, $50 US. Awesome. Hey guy, am I part of the Big Dick Club yet? Andy has already answered. LM, $5 US. Anarcho-syndicalism, opioid mercantilism, lugubriousness. Inferno Chill, $5 US. Andy, not alt-right, get out of my sight. Race Warski. Angry Reacts only, please. US $5, don't cock Andy. Do you? Loves to kill, $2 US. Andy, name the Jew Warski. Bumbush, $5 US. What size hood do you wear? We would have to ask Andy. Just Home, $5 US. It would be amazing if you guys could get the Justicar on to debate someone like Greg Johnson. I think he would provide great counter arguments. I agree. Justicar is a solid guy. Trashman, $10 US. Andy, who cares what cunts say? Especially when you do streams you call internet blood sports. Do what Jim does. Bob Ross, $10 US. Race Warski didn't do nothing wrong. He just wants to let fags and interracial couples do their thing without hating and destroying white people. But he can't. That's a very fatalist take on the question. Christopher Paulson, $5 US. This Johnny Fox is so gloriously and entertainingly pathetic, I adore him. I agree. Matt Draper, $5 US. Props, JF, for keeping your cool through that. Tons of respect for the role you've reluctantly assumed in this social dynamic. Good, man. Thank you, Matt Draper. And now, until Andy comes back, we are down in the Warski ghetto. What's happening, Warski ghetto? JF, notice me, senpai. You are the man. Hit the apex. You have been noticed at 11:42 p.m. Eastern Time. Your name was added to the notice log of the senpai. Rapture remembered, notice me, senpai. Same thing, I noticed you. Jeff is Bosgoy, Far West. Okay. Oh, did Fox take down his Twitter? Someone is claiming that Fox took down his Twitter. Is that true, people of the chat? Papa JF, hi JF, the true JF. Jeff, how tall are you? I'm not tall, I think I'm 5'6". Jeff, I love you from Norway. Well, are you a woman?
Hi,
Jeff, red-pilled rags in real time. All right, we can scroll.
Perfect. I was just telling my girlfriend what happened. She had no interest at all. She's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh, well, you have to."
I don't talk to my girlfriend about what's happening on the internet unless she asks.
Yeah, she's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna keep watching my Netflix show." I'm like, "All right, well, bye."
What I like about my girlfriend is that she's so isolated from the internet. She doesn't even know that people are making these false allegations against me. She just goes on with life and she doesn't know. That's a nice thing to have in your life. Bum shoe, $5 US. What size hood do you wear, Andy?
Jesus Christ. I don't have a size hood. Jesus Christ.
Tizzy, $5 US. If the law is the final word, then how are you not guilty of the sexual assault of a woman not able to consent? The answer is simple. She was able to consent, and there is no law that was violated in my relation with this woman. Jayo de la Rey, $5 US. The Daily Shoah, episode 245 on the right stuff. LM, US $10. Andy, the haters are all brainwashed retards who also are mostly communist. None of these people are innocent and all have selfish motives. They literally want to control your thoughts. Fuck liberalist, $2 US. Say my name. I said it. Billy Beat, $5 US. If we all race mix till we are all the same color, we will achieve the true ethnostate. That is true. I've always said multicultural ethnostate are an ethnostate. They are just a different ethnostate than the white ethnostate. Corbin Thomas, $5 US. How dare you, Andy? Talking with people you disagree with, that's heresy against my religion that you don't believe in. A terrible crime. Alt Media, $5 US. Warski did nothing wrong. This is what real debates looks like. JF is cool too. Dev, it's nice to be cool.
Hey, no, JF, you did like 95% of all the talking there.
Yeah.
It was just funny, like just hearing Rag start to be like, huh, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
People on the chat were saying I was red pilling him. It was a true red pilling session.
I truly hope he goes back to Sargon and they start to iron things out, maybe with your ideas. It'd be very interesting. Yeah. Okay. We're on Alt Media here. Oh no, right here. Corbin Thomas.
You go for it.
Oh yeah, no, I read that one already. Oh, you read that one. Alt Media, $5. Warski did nothing wrong. Oh yeah, sorry. Yep. Dev James, $25, $5. Base nigga here. Funny how This white leftists don't complain when blacks complain and discourage other blacks from race mixing. Cosmic Dorg, no, and he has on his videos. Cosmic Dorgan, $2. Did the artist draw porn of rags persona? The internet asshole, $2. I nominate Andy for King Cuck. William Bont Perg, $5. Has anyone realized that the majority of liberalists are just quite authoritarians? It's almost like a natural human impulse to control others. Joa de la Rey, $5. Thanks for not cucking on Mike or the Daily Show. The internet asshole, $5. And I'm Andy for King Cuck again. Thank you for another $5. Strung up, $5. Don't explain your beliefs, Andy. Tell those bitches to meet you on the Kumite or suck your dick. Good plan. LM, $5. Weird how certain subjects seem to be off limits. I don't know. It's really weird. Andy has said the N-word and no one has cared, but I guess this topic is off limits. Second Quiet, $5. Set up an argument between them and Academic Agent. He'll out strawman them any day. Academic Agent, Magna Cum Laude, Redbox University. $5 from no one named there, so thank you. Gareth Green, $10. Andy, you were the hero of the Kill Krautgate. My respect for you has only increased. I can see the financial motive of it, but so what? Skeptic leader. Julius. Julius, I mean, like the Krautgate thing blew up this channel, definitely, but that was just all natural. That was just like, what the fuck's happened? That was on a Patreon stream. You the lowest viewed streams of all time. Not that they're like bad people. It's just, you know, people want to see you talk to other YouTubers and shit like that. Julius Caesar, $5. Here's $5 for not having Kevin Logan on. We should do this often, not have him on.
We're literally making a living out of it.
Misty Spillers, $5. What happened to Theron? I saw her on Steven Crowder as the reasonable tranny, but she doesn't seem reasonable at all. She watched some out of context clips of me and freaked out. Striker Quiet, $5. The race element is central. There is no West without us. There is no Thomas Sowell without us. There would have been no Frederick Douglass without us. Dev James, $25. $2. Civic nationalism is weak sauce. Get real. Gareth Green again. Thank you very much, man. $10. Western civilization started in Egypt and Mesopotamia, for fuck's sake, and the Indo-European influence is linguistic and not racial. Cassie B, $2. Late to the stream. Is Andy still a neo-Nazi? I am not. Not yet. Inner Element, $5. You should try and have some of the people from Red Ice TV on one of your live streams. What's Red Ice TV? I'm not sure. Do you know?
Red Ice TV is a kind of alt-right mainstream TV outlet. Like they film like MTV, but they're alt-right.
Fair enough. Gareth Green, $10. Indo-European values are a big part of Western civilization, but these values are transmitted through language, not genes. Also, Milo I hate his last name. Yiannopoulos was never part of the alt-right. Patrick Henry, $2. This furry fag is an actual retard gas. Nah, don't be mean to Rags. I love Rags. $2 again. You're just giving as many points to debate them. Hey dude 77, $5. Hey Andy, I sent you the email you requested for being considered for a debate. Actually have Chris. He went through all the emails, got everything organized, and I'll be chatting with him and we'll start planning some fucking shows. Thank you for the emails. Miss Juju Pants, $5. Men and women both should learn their roles. I hope one day the alt-right wins so I can quit work to serve my husband and raise white children. Gandhi Grab Boy V, $10. Hey Andy, great show. Keep it running. Just curious, what are your thoughts on Russian foreign policy, particularly a Russian occupation of Crimea and ongoing since 2014 war in eastern Ukraine? Thanks. I will have to read up on that. I'm not very familiar on the Russian occupants of Crimea ongoing since 2014, but I'll check it out. Gareth Green, $5. Language does not come from race. Look at all the English-speaking Black and Asian people in America. Monster Chief, 117, $2. Women are miserable since joining the workforce. Gareth Green, $5. Thank you again, man. Africans have difficulty with abstract thought because their languages don't allow for it, not the other way around. Theodore McCarthy, $5. The alt-right is not an ideologically coherent movement. It's an umbrella term for various right-wing, dissident. Oh my god! No, another clip.
But you were on a roll. You were on a roll. You were reading these things perfectly.
I've been trying to like blah blah blah, and I'm learning more words. I think, like Aristotle. I've been practicing Aristotle. Like today, I was like Aristotle. Do you want to read on from here?
All right, so we are at roundabout red, $5 US. I could unpack how Gamergate's discovery of cultural Marxism evolved into a nationalist movement and how the alt-right came in and capitalized on it sometime. I agree, that's a good reading of what happened. Garrett Green, $5 US. JF, don't equate race and religion. A black majority America could have the same values. Muslim majority nations could not. Well, it's a call. Maybe you're right, but maybe you're wrong. Ryan Vannon, $10 US. Burn the heretic for talking those bad men. Striker Quiet, $5 US. Garrett Green, then why do they overwhelmingly want Gibbs and government mommy daddy to babysit everything? Why do they act like children? That is true. There is racial differences in how people vote. It's a reality. It's not necessarily bad, but it is a reality. Striker Quiet, $5 US. Sorry. Why did they demand access to white spaces and institutions rather than advocate for separation and self-governance as our founders did? Good question. Garrett Green, $5 US. Civilizational success comes from ideas and worldview, not resources. Africans would rule the world otherwise. Triskellon, 118, $2 US. Warski, say, I hate. Oh no, he's trying to have us say bad words. I'm not catching it this time.
Let's try.
No, I'm not saying it. All right, LM, $5 US. If you haven't examined voting statistics by race, you shouldn't even be involved in this conversation. The data leads to an obvious conclusion. I agree. Chris Trugis, $10 US. Way to have no detractors and only right-wing sycophants on this stream. Support for something isn't just what you say, but also what you omit, as well as body language, voice, tone. You fucking moron.
Yeah. Right. Hey, Rags was so right-wing, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty much the representative of the right wing in this conversation. And I mean, we're up for having anyone on the show, literally anyone.
I'm honestly just making a joke. He's a classical liberal. What the fuck is this Chris dude talking about?
Yeah, I understand. Garrett Green, $5 US. An ethno-state cannot be truly individualistic if it excludes people on the basis of race. On the basis of belief is another story. Well, I disagree. You can be individualistic and yet have a controlled immigration policy. Chris Turgis, $5 US. By the way, since Warski bans people from sending super chats who are critical of him, expect this to be my last super chat. What a total cock.
The guy I banned who super chat was threatening to murder black people. And I was and it was like a $2 super chat. No, thank you.
Like if you want to be murderous against groups, send us $1 million and maybe we'll do our last stand on this. We'll accept that the channel dies and we'll run away with the $1 million. But $2, no. Garrett Green, $5 US. Russians are white, and Russia is the most dysfunctionally authoritarian nation on the planet. Absolutely. And it's important when I say these things, I'm talking of tendencies. I do not believe the white race is homogeneously libertarian, obviously. We have Canada, we have Russia that are totally contrary examples. Freshinator 2, $5 US. What do you do when you have a beef? When you are Terran Mayor, you cut it off. Oh. Berisha, $5 US. You all are exercising your freedom of speech to the extent intended by the Constitution and the Founding Fathers. Exactly, that's what we do. Garrett Green, $5 US. Non-whites can be assimilated into a Western worldview. Sure. Somakas 2, $10 US. To JF, if you had to choose a viable location for an ethno-state, where would it be? Not sure if it is relevant, just curious. Currently, it would be Antarctica. and potentially, eventually, any place of the world that is free. Garrett Green, $10 US. Exclusion based on worldview, however, is another matter and perfectly justifiable. Bring in all the black people with classically liberal views that want to come on, test them on their views. All right, that's a form of political belief, ethnostatism.
I could smash out some of these.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Refrigerator 2, $5. What's JF's option on Joe Biden? Oh, I read you that.
I already did it. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, he meant I saw him in the chat. Sorry, buddy, it was too fast and people were talking. He meant European stock. Joe Biden said that about European stock, not he fucked up his.
So is it good for Joe Biden to be saying we need to reduce the number of Europeans in America? It depends what it means. Does it mean immigrants from Europe, modern immigrants from Europe, or does it mean the entire set of people that form the basis of the US, that is the white people? I would say if he means the second option, it's definitely a very shocking statement. If he means the first, it's a legitimate choice in immigration.
All right, Striker Quiet, $5. Did you get my email about the industry? Oh, Striker, I did see your email, and I'm doing all the emailing and scheduling tomorrow morning. So expect my email tomorrow. Oh, by the way, JF, Vegan Gains finally messaged me back. He can do Friday, which is tomorrow, right?
Yeah. All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, I know we had the other guy planned, but if you want to do a little switcheroo, because it's hard to get a hold of Vegan Gains.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I did confirm him. I will try to see if we can move it to Monday maybe, and we'll do Vegan Gains tomorrow.
Sounds
or maybe
good,
he wants to be on with Vegan Gains. I don't think he has a strong opinion on veganism, but I'll see.
Sounds good, dude. Garrett the Green, $5. If I ever given race a little less intelligent to another on average, that says nothing about any individual. Malcolm from the North, what's up, buddy? $5 sticks on screen. Getting blacked. Yeah, his internet was all fucked. Tilly Law, $5. I'm basically at the same point as JF. I've come to the unfortunate conclusion that a super majority white country is preferable, but without violence. Pulsar, $5. A white ethno state could develop without violence. Dearborn, Michigan, for example, is a de facto ethno state, but Muslims didn't violently kick out whites. Fuck liberalists. $2. Sticks, did you tell us your thoughts on liberalists? Unfortunately, his internet was all fucked. Ashley Sarganet, $2. Can I get a nipple slip from someone? Maybe tomorrow. Just stay tuned. Gabriel Lopez again, $50. Thank you so much, man. You're awesome. William Montberg, $5. Andy, everyone should research the Turkey-Greece population exchange. It was done peacefully after two nations went to war. Please research. Gabriel Lopez, $10. Hey, JF, if you rap Battle Destiny DP style, G-Man will still win.
I totally won that rap. What the fuck is this false rumor?
Yo, fucking, this is bullshit. Random City, $3 to $7, $10. Everyone thinks that the way they see and think of the world is right, but the way you see is based off your own experience. Oh, I read that one before. Thank you, Random City. You're awesome. Kidda, $2,000, $10. Like what you're doing, keep it up. Given his reaction to Rage Against the Storm, I read that as well. Thank you again. Chris Sturgis, $10. The quotes weren't taken out of context. You're just too politically illiterate to understand why they are problematic. If the alt-right goes mainstream, it will mean the death of the human race, World War III. It was taken out of context because it made me sound like I was agreeing. You fucking Chris, I thought you were going to stop donating. Thank you, but what the fuck, dude? Bearded Truth, $5. Tolerance and apathy are the last values of a dying society.
Wow.
Aristotle. See, I've been practicing it all day. This was it. I was practicing all day for this super chat. Fuck yeah.
I didn't know Aristotle had said this. That's pretty hardcore.
All right, Marcus. And I'm just proud of me saying the word.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care about this fucking quote at all. Marcus Antonius, $2. Invite Nick Fuentes on the show, or you're a faggot. Yeah, I will. Lehman Russ, $5. Yo, Sinatra, I built an AK-47 in my garage. Hit me up. We don't live too far away from each other, boy. Hey, I built a gun. Come to my house. We live close. I love you, Lehman Ross. I know he likes shooting. Only the truth, $5. JF, bonjour de Pointe Axe Tremble.
Bonjour de Pointe-aux-Trembles, Québec. Continue ton bon travail, mec. Tout un stream tantôt avec le sale roumanien. Québec est non na.
I read this thing by Amidendro Streams. Thank you, Edintro. A Frenchinator 2, $2. Make America Confederacy again. $2 again. He writes the same thing. Yoxter, $5. Former libertarian here. Jared Taylor changed my life. Have him on. Read his new book. Best reading I've had in years. Dinosaur Head, 11. $2. Much love. Thanks for the content, lads. No problem. The Geth, $5. The British monarchy was white people being oppressed by whites. So was Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. How could you say whites are liberty? Oh, fuck my mouth. Incline. Do you want to read on?
Yeah, so we have Freshinator 2, $5 US. I am in America, so the liberalist group seems stupid. Tilila, the sexy scientist, $5 US for JF. Strong Up, $5 US. The hows and whys of our USA government have already been hashed out in the Federalist Papers. Freshinator 2, $5 US. The liberalists need to consult people outside of their bubble because too many of them agree. Mitch Oob, $2 US. P on Jason Eastman. J de la Ray, $2 US. P on Jason Eastman. What is this? Edrendo Streams, $2 US. Give me a wrench, you piece of shit.
I'm his buddy, and I did. He's my buddy.
Freshinator 2, $5 US. Sounds like JF is for a confederacy, like the government that existed before the creation of the Constitution. Yeah, it's a model that I'm for. I'm not pushing it, but it's an interesting model. B Movie Paul, $2 US. Would JF rule JFistan or the Republic of JF? Well, it would be the Republic of JF, but I would impose the Constitution myself. AW, $20 US. I didn't just sit through 10 hours of a committee hitting on subjects of ethics and morals, from doxing to misrepresentation, to see Andy done dirty, from remix clips taken way out of context. Fuck them. They do not know that way. DK, $10 US. Taxation is just rent. This is a meme, the know the way that I've come to appreciate with time, as it gets like it passes the cringy level, and then I'm in that comfortable place where the cringe has disappeared because it's too overused, and I'm in the second level appreciation of the meme. DK, $10 US. Taxation is just rent, and during the Middle Ages, governments were private landlords. Kings, dukes, etc. The federal government merely controls more turf than the guy who owns your apartment. Absolutely agree. Total Spills, $5 Australian. JF, say sincerely, blah, blah, blah. That's all anti-Semitism stuff. Don't let V talk too much, please, and thanks. Murax9, $5 US. Taxation and civil court reform is policy, not principle. The liberalist policy has not been set yet. These are principles. Policies are not principles. Sure, that's why I argued with Rags on principles. I told him that his principle of democracy is contradictory with his principle of individual liberty. Striker Quiet, $10 US. Tear it down and start over. You two are moral cowards for being unwilling to even entertain the idea of discarding a corrupt and broken system because it will hurt some people's fees. By fire, be purge, $5 Australian. Thank you for the donation. Bob Ross, $5 US. I love JF, but thought this was supposed to be about Andy and his plans to usher in the Fourth Reich. What gives? Well, my answer to this would be Andy followed Stick's recommendation, which is don't give too much attention to the haters. That's what they want. And so we moved on and we did an awesome show.
I did the first 15 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that people understand like what I believe. Mainly, I've explained it, and if you JF have any questions on my belief system, I'm willing to answer it. And yeah, That's about it.
Yeah, it seems to me that Andy is open to learning about other human beings, which is a very commendable desire. And in his learning, he refuses to have others bully him into not listening to people. William Montpurge, $2 US. It's already been done. Treaty of Lausanne. Code Guy Alt number 2, $5 US. Andy, why did you mods block all my Code Guy accounts? I have to keep making new ones just to donate to the streams.
Yeah, I saw your messages, dude. I'm not sure. I see Azu and Mr. Thunder, all those guys were all talking with each other. Booberly says she didn't do it. I'm honestly, dude, not sure. Honestly, keep me updated, all right, buddy? Please and thank you. Here, I'll read a few. And I like Code Guy. He's awesome. Ernie Craw, $5. The only realistic change that could be brought is by revolution. Every empire eventually falls. Garlic Knight Drew, $2. How would you encourage women to be libertarians? That's a loaded question for right now, buddy. I'm sure we'll talk
about them. Marry libertarian guys.
That's it. I was about to say that too. Cassie B, 420, and Black Genocide 2018. Rags is anti-interesting. Come on, I love Rags. He makes awesome videos too. $2. Thank you for the $2. Thank you, Paul Paddock, $2. Fuck Faggy Fox. Fox tried to throw you down, but he failed. Tom Morrison, 5 New Zealand bucks. Sorry on the show, Andy. Glad to hear. I'm glad you heard those guys out. Fuck the haters. Love you. You do you. Love from New Zealand. Thank you very much. Striker Quiet, $2. Biden said European stock. Yes, I did correct that because I saw it, but there's too much talking. Jessica Ustas, $2. Take on American guys. Scale from Poland to Sweden. Scale from Poland to Sweden. I'm not gonna answer that because I'm not gay, but you know, do you have any answer, JF, for that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he means by his metaphor. Does he mean that America is getting more multicultural? Yeah, it's true. Not as much as Sweden, but it's on the way. It's in between the two countries.
I just got that. I'm a retard. Wow, embarrassing. Striker Quiet, $5. Most blacks in the U.S. are foreigners, many others being their children. They have hold no claim to the experience of heritage blacks. They are not Americans. Tilly Law, $5. Anyone else want to hear JF talk about political philosophy with Jordan Peterson? That would be nice.
Just after our MMA fight, we would have a chat. That would be nice.
A screw loose, $5. The native savages would still be trading beads and killing each other with their pointy sticks if we hadn't come along. Flanders Bowler, $2. JF, don't be fox like what Destiny was to Terra, please. Bearded Truth, $2. Personal attacks are not an argument. Striker Quiet, $2. I didn't know trailer parks are that close to Duke. Jesus, LF. Oh, that's a solid fucking dish right there. LM, $2. I hope JF stole money from a corporation. Random City 327. $2. Johnny Fox. This is starting to sound stalkerish. Blackmore 10 US. Thank you. JF. I made a response video for you titled "Concerns that JF misused research, the quest for retarded mice. Sorry in advance for autism/bad audio. I feel like I raised some valid concerns."
I'll have a look. I'm open to a critique of my retarded mice stuff, which was a meme, but it was also true. So I'm open to it. I'll watch it.
All right. Edmund Ploppy, $10. JF, you empathize evidence and truth, but do you have any thoughts on positions based on emotion, specifically when you interact with someone and some quality they possess annoys the fuck out of you?
Well, I mean, yeah, you have to use your capacity to exclude yourself from this person. If you're not compatible, you just don't consent to interactions with them.
Boober Lee, $2. Johnny Fox has no receipts. Fake news. He did have a receipt, but it was your resume, and I was like, God damn, this is a great resume. Jeez, like I was like, he made me go, what? This guy, what the fuck? Like I was blown away. Like, I was impressed.
People don't know. I mean, I've been like at the top of Canadian science. I've been winning the top awards of my generation. I was one of the greatest scientists in Canada of my age.
And now you're with a fucking stuttering.
And now I'm on Warski Live.
How the great fall. It's a great show. I think we have.
We could talk about it on a show because I've been living in monkey groups. I've been interacting with monkeys. I'm sure people would love learning about my past.
Hey! We said no racism.
No, they're actual monkeys.
I'm sorry, that was too easy. I'm just joking. That's rude. That's rude. Do not.
But this is a joke that I kept hearing in the South of America. Every time I said I was working with monkeys, they were like, "Oh yeah, me too."
I was joking, but they're just like, no, for real.
They were really serious about it.
Jesus Christ. It's okay to poke fun and make little jokes here and there. Like, like a Jew joke or whatever. Even a French joke. I don't care about that shit. Canadian stuttering joke. Make fun of me being retarded. I don't care. It's when you say kill all the, that's where it's like, okay, that's not a joke anymore.
You know what? I think you won't believe this, but today I understood the Andy Race Warski meme. I hadn't realized that in this meme there is race war. I thought that they was just calling you Andy Race Warski. Today, after weeks, I've understood that it was race war ski.
Holy, that's worse than me saying Loki. Someone
I just hadn't seen it.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. I'm not. This is the top scientist in Canada, guys.
That's what we can produce. Sorry, that's our best.
Oh, you really are the fucking military version of Canada. All right. Where are we? Oh yeah, LM, $2. Nobody fucking cares. And that he was saying to the Johnny Fox stuff. Ban anime, $5. I had my time where I wondered if this was all in my head. That time passed. Johnny Fox on the investigation of JF. Oh, DRSG, $5. But JF, the current Canadian system for native reserves has been an absolute fucking failure. What are your thoughts on that? I think you talked about that,
Absolutely.
right?
This is why I said it's a fatalistic thing. I'm so sad about it. At the same time, I want to find a solution for Native American. I would want to give them back significant portions of land so that they can live their lifestyle, but we've destroyed everything.
All right. Melting Pot, YT, $2. Get this retard out of here, Andy. Look, I like JF and he's a co-host, so fucking just deal with it. He was talking about fucking.
But there are serious people who cannot take me, and I had to accept that with my French accent, there's just gonna be like 1% of your audience which will always be like, I couldn't take it. You brought JF as a co-host. Andy, go back to Chris. Go back to laughing about SJWs.
Chris wants to come on and pick your brain as well, so that'd be
yeah, we need that. That would be awesome.
Yeah. And
didn't we have a meeting with him tonight?
Oh, don't worry. He had messaged me at 7:00 and said, "Hey, don't worry. I see this is important. Right. We'll just talk tomorrow." So cool. Tenebris Anima, £5. Why is this absolute loser on? We are having a fascinating conversation on ideas, and you let this stinking shit flinger in to ruin everything. Don't worry, we'll have more ideas, more discussions, and the conversation was sort of like winding down. So I'm like, this is a perfect time. Striker Quiet, $5. Bring in the cash boy. Change the title. Trailer Park Retard starts beef with professional man slut. Oh shit! I should. Screw loose $5. Fuck Johnny Fox. You sucks at reading. Even Andy with his stutter can read better. Thank you. I think that was the compliment. LM $5. Seriously, Andy, this guy has wasted precious time of my limited life. Seriously, allowing this retard on here is fucking egregious. Fucking waste of time. We like blood sports sometimes. What do you want from me? Maldi Buddha, $2. Johnny Fox is an ignorant man who can't read. LM, $2. Again, His content fucking blows. You could have just.
You know what? These people say it blows, but there was something fun about it, and I'm sure they enjoyed deep inside.
Oh, dude, I was confused and like and everything, but it's funny sometimes when the blood comes out. You know what I mean? And also the ending was the greatest, where his buddy came in. I was about to be like, "Why the fuck are you here?" Like, and then he's like, "No, hang on, Andy, I want to apologize on behalf of." I'm like, what the fuck? That was the best ending. LM, I hope you enjoyed that. Actually, look, I'm just gonna fast forward here a bit. LM again, $2. Press 1 if you want any. Stop wasting your time. You could have just left for a bit, bud. Nathan, $5. Can you please read this, Andy? Andy Warski, think Ghost from True Capitalist Radio. Nope. Thank you very much, Nathan. Pop TV, $5. Why does Johnny Fox sound like a special needs version of Failure Golf? Oh, Pop TV. Oh, with a swing and a hit. Cassie B, $2. It's nice to see Adam to allow JF to rape Johnny live. You're welcome. Vlad Hogan, $5. Hey, Johnny, you have gone full retard, bro. Do you want to read some more? We're almost done here.
All right, Flanders Baller, $2 CA. Never mind, JF, treat him like Destiny did to Tara, so he changed his previous super chat. Mitch Oob, $5 US. Pee on Johnny Fox. I will literally drive there and pee on him now. Don't do that, Mitch. Dusty G, $5 US. For Johnny Fox to drink bleach, press B. Don't do that. Kake, $5 US. Johnny Fox, the grown-ups are trying to have a conversation. Go back to the kids' table. LM, $2 US. Press 1 if you want. Okay, this one you read. Freshinator 2, $2 US. Star Wars is real because space exists. Johnny Fox. Midnight... It's exactly what happened. Midnight Bum Pro, $5 US. Fox, enough. It's ridiculous. Flanders Baller, $5 Canadian. That's the hill you're gonna die on. that was a quote. If you know the context in which he said that, that was so funny. This is hardly fucking Camelon, and you are sure as shit ain't Mordred. Give up. Nelson Nunez, $5 US. Buy yourself a beer. That Johnny Faggot doesn't know how to contextualize or interpret facts. Seneca the Reader, $5 US. Richard Spencer just defended ethical child porn on another LS. His exact words, it helps people who would be child molesters not be. I'm not sure that's true. I would ask for a quote before I believe this.
Yeah. I'll disagree for now, but we need evidence of anything like that.
Striker Quiet, $5 US. Johnny's mind is blown. You don't need a resume to wipe people's windshield at the stoplight. Ice Griffin, $5 US. Remove the Fox now. Fresh. There's a dagger. This guy is serious. Freshinator 2, $2 US. Johnny Fox, JF is not interested in fucking you. Seneca the Reader, $2 US. Richard Spencer, Destiny Debate. When, Andy? Randomosity.
I think we're going to stay away from Destiny until all the shit, you know.
Yeah, but Richard Spencer, we still have the plan with Richard Spencer Sargon 2. That's the next stepping stone.
Yep. Shit.
I think you just got new ones that appeared.
Sorry. What the fuck happened?
There's just a bunch of new ones.
Oh my god.
You can go up.
There we go. Someone here. Here, I can pound through these real fast, okay?
All right.
Striker Quiet, $5. Johnny. Oh, yeah, we read that. Sorry, my bad. Frenchinator 2, $2. Johnny Fox, JF is not. Hey, fuck my goddamn life. Random City 327, $5. Holy shit, this went from a good discussion to boring slog. The hilarious whiplash on Johnny Fox. It was funny. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Boring slog, too hilarious. Thank you. C French, $10. Good thing bestiality is legal in Canada because I just watched the fox get fucked to death. Stuart JSA, $2. 1. A hint of shrimp, $2. JF's got more degrees than a fucking thermometer. Fuck yeah, that's funny. I like that joke. That's my voice I do when it's like a really fucking bad joke.
It's a good mainstream joke.
Yeah, a screw loose $10. If you ever own your own business, you'd understand sometimes dickheads leave you bad reviews, you dumb fuck, Johnny. And it's very true. I used to work at a furniture store. When they were mad about something, they would act as if we were Satan. A Triskelion 118, $2. Johnny, fuck off. Holy shit. Melting Pot YT, $2. Andy dropped this fucker. Mars Shimura 100 MX, which I think is about $10. But thank you very much. We really appreciate it. When did it become okay to dig through people's past like this little narc or like a pathetic Destiny? Get a fucking life. This jealous loser behavior needs to be shunned. Opinions hurt. $5. Andy, you're gonna die of a crushed soul by age 40. Don't know how you do this all day. I tweeted a vid for you. Keep up the great channel. I had fun on Kumite and a lot of like just chilling out, relaxing. It was fun. Booberly, $1. Thank you. Tilly Law, $5. Low IQ Fox, Jessica Ustas, $5. That feeling when you pull the trigger on your enemy and it blows your own brains out. I don't want to adult anymore. $2. This is literally my first super chat. Kick him. Oh, you have to sign up for that shit. Dog bath, $5. If Antarctica deports all fur fags, I'm in. Skeptifa is a failed state. Josh Skeens, $2. Hashtag Fox Die virus released. LM, $2. Hail Sinatra. Yoxinator, $5. I had an intellectual hard-on for an hour and the Fox came in and now I have ED. Seriously, why is he after JF? Can you provide some context? The ending was
there's no context.
No context needed.
He just decided to go on a spree 5 days ago, and since then he's like, JF won't face me. All right, well, I faced you tonight.
Yeah. A Tenebris Anima, 10 pounds. Cucks, what the fuck are you doing with your fucking life? Spending your time digging through all bullshit. If you died tomorrow, difference to make. Get out, you useless cunt. Unvarnished Void, $5. I disagree with JF about some things and agree about the others. He seems manipulative. I don't know if I would call him upstanding. However, Fox should say sorry. A Shuttle Kelia, $5. Why is he still on the stream? Because it was funny and great ending. Steve Shives swung by. Thank you, Steve Shives.
Steve Shives.
I'm a big fan, Steve. No, it's not. It's not Steve Shives. I don't want Johnny Fox in our white ethno states because fucking piece of shit. We can't read. Jesus Christ. Dave on duty, $5. Jeff, stop playing fools like Fox. We already all know you're alpha as fuck. Striker Quiet, $2. Name a Dr. A Bigot. The Guardian, $2. I have to go with the evidence. JF is right. Jared Vance, $10. $10 to remove Johnny Fox to the stream and add him to the banned list. Started Quiet, $2. Name Doctor. Pal Paddock, $5. For the love of God, throw the Fox off the stream. And okay. Only the Truth, $5. TN's JF. All right, here you go. It's all you.
Tiens, JF, un autre 5. Tu es patient avec ce moron. Là, j'aurais perdu ma patience bien avant un calice d'imbécile à parler de ta vie personnelle de même.
Oui. Opinions, I don't know what he said. Opinions hurt, $5. Johnny, I wish I was Medicare. Fox, Jesus Christ, Andy, stop the bleeding. We, $5. Gas Fox, Mars, Shimura, 50 MX. Mind your condom business. Johnny, fat ass. Your envy of JF is obvious, like Destiny's. $2. Cassie G and C sent back to his piece of murder. Did not gonna say that. Cassie B, $2. I'm sorry, Rags. You're a bandmaster. Unvarnished Void, $10. I debunked that 11, 12-year-old thing a while ago. I don't know why you'd bring it up. I'm a friend. I call out. And he's friends with Johnny Fox and debunked him, and still Johnny Fox did that shit. Total spills, $2. After on JF, let me on. Don't let V talk, please. Okay, do you want to read the last few?
Yeah, Eshak Jamdar, $2 US. Is this a new Discord for doxing? Talking about the Skype liberalist. Trainwreck, Titty Blister, $2 US. You should invite Rocka and Jim Boton to meet. Matt Draper, $5 US. Props, JF, for keeping your cool through that. Tons of respect for the role you've reluctantly assumed in this social dynamic. Good man. Christopher Paulson, $5 US. This Johnny Fox is so gloriously and entertainingly pathetic. I adore him. Opinions heard, $5 Canadian. J'ai un gros bonheur dans mon pantalon. IJF. So he has a boner. Skunkball, $2 US. Stage 3 of the Radical Agenda with Chris Cantwell. Skunkball, $2 US. Have brother Nathaniel and Chris Cantwell on as soon as possible. Cerberus 984, $5 US. Using Destiny /Johnny Fuck Fox allegations logic. Having sex with SJW is rape, as they are mentally retarded by Texas standards and unable to consent. I think my ex-fiance would have laughed at this joke. She was a very strong anti-SJW and anti-feminist. $2 US.
Hey, Richard Spencer did say that shit. And then, Destiny's like, he tagged me, goes, LOL, this is dripping with irony. Let's see if we can catch some call outs. All right, I'll talk about this tomorrow even. Richard Spencer saying ethical child porn is okay. I think you're fucking retarded for that.
Yeah.
And then also, we had Destiny call that as well. So
that's the extreme utilitarianist position, whereas it obfuscates all sorts of principles of law, such as the unclean hands. You don't want to invoke within the process of the law crimes. You don't want to have to commit crimes to avoid crimes. Skunkball I've read, Cerberus I've read, Xenomancer $5 US. This is why you don't let the Fox have any skippies. Trainwreck Tilty Blister $5 US. Invite Rucka on to talk about objectivism and individualism, and invite Jim to ask him questions about it, please. That sounds interesting.
I don't think Rucka would. No, he's the guy who unfollowed me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Here, I'll pound through these as fast as fucking possible.
All right. We don't have to say the amounts.
Okay. Triskel Line 118. Say it, damn you. Start quiet. Baba booby. Try a syringe circle. First time donating to a YouTuber. Glad to see libertarian. Metacrism is being presented to a public space. JF needs to convert Andy into libertarian. Annika O'Brien, $2. Gas up. Random City 327, $5 if you want.
By respect for the cars, we will not read the chat.
Yep. If you want to take Andy out of context, fuck my mouth. Uber Lee, $5. Andy, please have Charles Marlon and Vita Cheetah with vegan gains and JF. You disagree with them both. Ali, $2. Giraffes, we only need 30 minutes sleep daily. Total spills. It was an anti-Semitic JF. It was a super chat showing how Rags disagrees. Start quiet. $2. Donny Fox. Goob White Gigabo. Flanders Bowler. Correction. He's a top science French Canada. Nathan, $5. JF, any tips on someone who wants to get involved with venom research / venom extraction? Herpology. Email him. All right. Yeah. E Fitz G, $10. I'm a Canadian out in West BC. If I support Cobra Cause Nation, would be great, even though I'm not Cobra Cause. Nathan, $2. Say this is the ghost. Then Ghost is an Alex Jones ripoff. Maximum Smith, $2. JF, are whites Hispanics, Iranian or Armenians white? We'll talk about that some other time. Guardian, $2. JF is in the right against Johnny Fox and Destiny. Kowa, $2. JF is a rampage today. 3 confirmed kills. Mr. Thundero, $2. Good night to you, Ultimate Chads. Train record, Titty Blister, $2. What's your problem with Rucka Andy? I have no problem with him. He has a problem with me. That's the goddamn show.
It's amazing how this show keeps being amazing and keeps surprising me.
Every fucking time. Thank you everyone for donating. You really helped the show go. JF, as always, I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Peace.